Chapter 6171. Ruthless Anger. But you can't get the slightest relief. Then he'll let you understand what is pain. The beast's face was hideous, and he actually took the initiative to crush the token, wanting to block Jian Wushuang's face and breaking his reliance. Click. After a crisp sound, Jie Shou was stunned. The sound just now was not the sound of the token breaking, but his bones were squeezed and shattered. The token is still intact. Just when he wanted to break the token again. That token, however, took the initiative to fly towards Jian Wushuang. A dazzling light erupted. Light shines all around. Space is broken and time is chaotic. The power of infinite rules breaks through everything. Jian Wushuang naturally got out of the predicament. Snapped. Taking the token again, he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, then raised the token with one hand, trying to crush it completely. But when he saw the surroundings clearly, he was dumbfounded. Where is the infinite land? Obviously it is an illusory world. Everything in front of him has become an illusion. The ugly world beast was also instantly wiped out. It's all over. Jian Wushuang also put away the token. He was tricked. Played by those stone statues. The test of Taoism, when I first went to the land of promise, was probably just a pretense. Just to make him afraid. Let him know that this place can really connect to the promised land. So much so that the last test, the lousy idea of entering the land of infinity and beheading the demigods, is to link the previous and the next. A good plan, a set within a set. To the detriment, he almost used the strongest trump card. He was panting heavily, his injuries were slowly recovering. He raised his head and said coldly, "It's almost done." Originally wanted to vent, but thinking that the other party really didn't mean to kill him, he could only take it lightly. Fortunately, that world beast couldn't crush this token. Otherwise he really lost a lot. How many benefits can I gain by becoming the heir of this place? Is it as useful as a life? This token is his second life. Absolutely cannot be used arbitrarily. Congratulations, from now on, you are the seventh heir here. A voice came from the sky. Jian Wushuang looked up, and there were several huge stone statues around. Only the upper body is revealed. He was still in that small world at this time. The figure flashed, and he entered the outside world. Seventh. He worked hard for his feelings, but he wasn't the first. There are 6 competitors. Yes, you are currently the 7th heir, and there are 6 more in front of you. But you are the only master of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm. Among the remaining 6, there are 4 demigods, 2 universe gods, and the strongest among them is already a 6-star cosmic god. Once he becomes an 8-star cosmic god, he will be able to fully inherit all the treasures here. The stone statue waved his hand, and a list appeared. Even the divine power is noted above. The first Zongpeng is a 6-star cosmic with a divine power of 670 million. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang was stunned. This is a fart. Others are almost 7 stars. He is not even qualified to cross the 9th robbery. Can't play anymore. Or he was being played with. Don't be discouraged, the 8-star cosmic god. It's not as simple as you think, and there is a final assessment, so you won't necessarily lose. You don't need your basic divine power to reach the 8-star cosmic god. You only need your combat power to reach the 8-star cosmic god. After seeing Jian Wushuang's disbelief, the stone statue added again. Don't worry, the old master is staying. 9 positions, you are ranked 7th, it's not too late. It is not too late to say that the sword has no double-sided color. But it's too bad. The demigod who was ranked 6th already had 80 million divine powers. Pretty much the same as he is now. There is even a demigod with hundreds of millions of divine powers. Everyone else is stupid. The outside world has never heard of a demigod with a supernatural power of hundreds of millions. He pointed to the 3rd position with a surprised expression. The stone statue also knew what he was going to ask, so he explained. This is a demigod from the starry sky world. And the demigod is comparable to the universe god, which is normal. The power is also comparable to the threshold of a demigod. What's so surprising? Really, Jian Wushuang shouldn't be surprised. But he is special, only he knows. After he reaches the 9 tribulations realm, he may be about the same as the 3rd. Divine power exceeded 100 million. He did not expect such a powerful demigod. Next, he asked again about the promised land that he cared about most. He had to ask clearly about this matter. Don't wait for him to become the heir in the future. He needs to go to the promise to fight. It's better to prepare him. The explanation of the stone statue is also very simple. Inheriting treasures, of course, inherits a will. After becoming the true heir, you will get all the treasures. Of course, not all at once. Instead, it is necessary to exchange for the original core of the beast. The original nucleus of an 8-star beast can directly obtain all the treasures. The 7-star pronucleus can only obtain 10% of the treasure. That's it. You have to become the ultimate heir before you can redeem it. Is now ineligible. The advantage now is that you can enter this place to absorb the power of the starry sky. He has already entered the 8 tribulations realm, so he will not be able to enter again until after the 9 tribulations realm. After entering, in addition to absorbing the power of the starry sky, he also needs to kill the beasts of the same rank. The stone statue will be customized for him, a world beast of equal strength, or even a world beast stronger than him. As long as the test is completed, the treasure can be obtained again. Then there is the God of the universe. The universe can enter this place 3 times. After 3 opportunities are used up, the next time you enter, you need to reach the stage of the 8-star universe God. After listening, Jian Wushuang nodded silently. I think it is quite reliable. And he can now get a reward for the 8 tribulations realm. The reward of the 8 tribulations realm was originally very ordinary. But since your strength is too much beyond the same level, you can't use ordinary treasures. So let's give you a 1-star artifact. The stone statue was finally generous once. But when Jian Wushuang heard it, he frowned. After working for a long time, I got a 1-star artifact. He really doesn't like it. From the Lord of Zhalong Mountain, he got a 6-star artifact. Naturally, I despise these 1-star artifacts. Seeing Jian Wushuang frowning, the stone statue corrected. Don't be small, this treasure I gave you, although your divine power is powerful now, can't break through time and space. This divine weapon I gave you it can be broken. Pekong. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath after hearing this. If the demigod wants to break the sky, he can only use the space-time order. But that thing is too expensive. And you also need star spar to buy it. Jian Wushuang did not have a single star crystal, although he himself has the power of the starry sky. But his own power of the starry sky is not enough. It is impossible to cut his own divine power, to condense the starry sky spar to buy the space-time order. Chapter 6172. That would put the cart before the horse. That's why I was so surprised when I heard about the divine weapon that could break through the air. Phantom sky. The stone statue shouted softly, and a long handsome piece appeared in his hand. He stretched out his hand and waved. Whoops! A large piece of time and space was broken open. The illusion is floating in the crack of time and space. The stone statue flashed, and jumped on top of Chang Jun's swish. When he reappeared, he was already behind Jian Wushuang. This is not the reason for the speed, but it really broke through time and space, and went around behind Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up when he saw it. It's worth it. This time it's not in vain. Solve the key problem of running. Well, it's okay. The stone statue weighed Hong Kong, and threw it to Jian Wushuang. With Jian Wushuang in his hand, he was about to refine it. Naturally, she agreed. Very satisfied. And the stone statue also promised that when Jian Wushuang arrives at the universe God, he will make the magic sky into a 6-star artifact. As for the follow-up, Jian Wushuang needs to figure out a way by himself. But that's enough. After reaching the universe God, once the divine power reaches a certain level, one can break through time and space, but the scope of breaking and the scope of shuttle is limited. Not as good as this illusory at all. Made money. After becoming an heir, there are very few dangerous things. You can also get treasures. It was given to the treasure, and a 10,000 square meter starry sky spar. It can supplement his starry source. It was also a pleasant surprise. The stone statue also promised that when he reached the 9 tribulations realm, he could get 1 million square meters. The universe is 100 million squares. The entire worth of the Samsung Universe God is less than 100 million square meters. Generous. The further back, the richer the reward. Jian Wushuang took the treasure and learned some secrets of the promised land with the stone statue before leaving. When he got to the square, he realized that everyone was already there. After hearing that he left the customs, the rest felt that they had reached their limit and were ready to leave. In the square, waiting for Jian Wushuang. It's just this. And it's another 100,000 era. When he saw Jian Wushuang coming out, Wuxia quickly got up and asked, "Brother Wushuang, how is the receipt this time?" After going for such a long time, the receipt must be unusual. "It's okay, you'll find out later." Jian Wushuang was very proud. With Huangkong Shinjun after going out, he must show his hand. Originally, I was worried that it would take a long time to go from the Silver Blue Star region to the God Star region, and it would be a little troublesome. Now that they have the illusion, they will soon be able to return to the Temple of Immortality. After Wu Li heard this, his eyes were shining, and he came over. "You won't be carrying the treasures here, right? You think too much." Jian Wushuang shook his head. How could he have that ability? Besides, this is not the northern time and space, so he can easily end up with it. This is the secret realm of the stars. Moreover, in this mysterious starry sky, in addition to the fallen universe God, there are many dangerous places. It's more dangerous there. The universe is in danger of falling. This is the periphery at best. In the future, when he reaches his strength, he may be able to explore in depth. Now it's better to leave. After everyone adjusted properly, they left the dojo. Before taking a step, Jian Wushuang looked back at the statue. The 8-star cosmic god. All fell. Moreover, according to the stone statue, it was not that they entered the land of promise and fell, but the beasts of the land of promise rushed into the realm king continent. This cosmic just fell. At this time, he also understood the usefulness of the king's continent. A buffer. A battlefield. 6-fingered heavenly sage. This is the name of the fallen cosmic god. My real name is June 6. Very simple, very common. But he fell into the battle to protect the starry sky. Jian Wushuang's heart was also touched. After taking a deep breath, he returned to the ancient starry sky road. There is nowhere to go. They need to go to the exit. There is only one entrance to this mysterious starry sky. But there are many exports. And there is no danger on the route. It only took thousands of years for them to leave this mysterious starry sky. If it wasn't to keep a low profile, he used Huangkong Shinjun, and it only took a few hours to leave. However, there are many strong people in the secret realm of the starry sky. He, a master of the 8 tribulations realm universe who has no background, will be targeted by people with such a powerful artifact. Even if you're not afraid of the other party, you don't want to trouble yourself. Leaving the secret realm of the starry sky, their tokens flickered constantly. There is the voice transmission of the realm king, and there is also the voice transmission of Dambao. It's just that I've left hundreds of thousands of epochs, so I'm so anxious. Apparently something happened. Swish. Jian Wushuang. Hurry back to the Temple of Immortality. The metal life has appeared. Brother Wushuang, the prophet replied. The beast soldiers have gathered together. Are you successful? Jian Wushuang answered them one by one. Metal life. He doesn't care anymore. Just a defeated general. Moreover, when he was so weak back then, when the prophet arrived in the realm king continent, it was a question whether he had the 9 tribulations realm or not. He is not afraid. I even wanted to solve these troublesome guys together. Especially Sirius. No matter how strong it is, where can it go? In addition to these, there is also the matter of Xiaolong Mountain. At this time, Xiaolong Mountain was mixed. The God Star territory is also lazy to manage. However, Dambao stopped this errand and was still waiting for them to go back and take over the Xiaolong Mountain territory. This is also a small thing. The only thing worthy of his attention is the beast soldier. Now the beast soldiers are completely collected. The perfect beast soldier can be refined, which prophet of the God Star field has promised to help him refine Dambao. And it's free. This made Jian Wushuang very happy. When even took out the divine artifact Huangkong. Swish. Stand still. Unbelievable light leaked from Wu Li and others' eyes. Unexpectedly, Jian Wushuang obtained such a divine weapon. Although it is a 1-star artifact, its effect is more exaggerated than that of a 7-star. Of course, it doesn't matter if you give them 7 stars. Some 1-star artifacts require hundreds of millions of divine powers to be activated. This is also why the Dragon's Blade of the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain had only half a star at www. It is required that only 70 million divine power can be activated. This is a demigod. As half a star. The rest of the semi-artifacts they obtained required 30 million divine powers, which were not considered semi-artifacts at all. They were all rubbish. There is also a 1-star artifact that was distributed from the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain. There is no magic dragon's blade that is easy to use. The divine artifact Huankong is even more unusual. Divine power requires 10 million, only responsible for traveling through time and space. Absolute artifact. Especially suitable for those geniuses. It's much better than the time and space order. Everyone stood on the magic sky in Xinjun, traveling through time and space again and again. It only took 1 month to leave the silver blue star region. After going out, it is the star domain of the gods. There are still some unexplored territories in the star field. They were all occupied by some disciples or relatives in the star territory of the gods. Only Xiaolong Mountain has nothing to do with the star region of the gods. Chapter 6173. But being able to occupy for so long is because of the Dragon Clan. Now the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain has fallen. Countless people would have come to it. But the canyon of time and space is gone. No one will call this attention again. Without the cracks in time and space, the Xiaolong Mountain territory is just like that. It's not as good as an ordinary territory. Whoops! Xiaolong Mountain. Within a month, everyone arrived at Xiaolong Mountain. If you go back to the star region of the gods, it may only take an hour. Very fast. I'll stay with Brother Shenmu. The bird place in the Temple of Immortality is too boring. I don't want to go back. There is news from Metal Life. Let me know immediately. And this Xiaolong Mountain will be our site from now on. Wu Li and King Shimu bid farewell to everyone. Jian Wushuang took Wu Zua and Hui Qing and left the Xiaolong Mountain territory. But the name will be changed soon. Become their base camp. Going to the Temple of Immortality all the time is troublesome. But it is more comfortable to get a territory by yourself. At least the space is large enough. On the other hand, Wu Zua and Hui Qing had never been to the Temple of Immortality. Also, they don't like to compete. Hui Qing was not happy. It doesn't mean Wu Zua is not happy. When Wu Zua went back this time, it was definitely the Realm King who named him. Otherwise, I won't go back. Illusory travels through time and space. After a while, he tore apart the time and space and reached the 9th layer of the sky in the star field of the gods. Through the clouds, I saw the immortal temple in the sky. Dan Bao and the Realm King were already waiting for them at the edge of the hall. Whoops! Jian Wushuang came with him and fell into the immortal temple. I finally came back. After I couldn't feel your cause and effect, I went to the prophet and learned from him that you went to the secret realm of the starry sky again. The king of the realm said with a bit of complaining. Jian Wushuang was surprised. I didn't expect the prophet to be so powerful. He could not only calculate where the treasure was, but also where the people went. He was so precise that he had to admire it. It's just a coincidence that we went from the canyon of time and space to that mysterious starry sky. This time, it was indeed a coincidence and good luck. Encountered the trial of the Temple of the Gods. He also told the king of this matter. When the Realm King heard this, his heart was shocked. Needless to say, they failed. Cultivators in time and space. It is too difficult to enter the Temple of the Gods. It has nothing to do with your strength. Don't take it to the bottom of your heart. Although he said that, his face was still a little regretful. He asked how far Hui Qing and Jian Wushuang have reached. After listening to it, I was relieved. Not too far. If there was a miracle, he entered the Temple of the Gods. In that case, they will be proud of their ancestors in the northern time and space. In the history of the Realm King continent, there was only one strong person in time and space who entered the Temple of the Gods. It was the Zamas, who didn't deal with them. From the southern time and space, the powerhouses of the four major dimensions are also the strongest in the southern dimension. It's because of Zamasu. Jian Wushuang felt a little sad in his heart, as he could see the disappointment of the king. If he had been softer at the beginning, maybe Xingyue would have been able to get him into the temple of God by exception. You don't need to be afraid of Zamas later. It's just that at that time he no longer looked down on the threat of Zamas. Especially now. The peak of divine power is 90 million. When he arrived at the universal God, and with the gift of the six-fingered heavenly sage, he would soon be able to catch up with him. There is no need to rely on the temple of the gods. In the future, there will be in the southern time and space, and they will also have it in the northern time and space. After talking about their experiences, the king of the realm thought for a while before talking about calling them back this time. Through the prophet, the realm king knew that metal life would come to Zhelongshan territory in 100,000 years. The goal is to kill Jian Wushuang. After telling him some of the other party's special certificates, he also gave him a special order. Don't underestimate those metal beings. As far as I know, there is a very special mechanical optical brain in Nanshukong, who is also approaching. You must be careful. Jian Wushuang didn't care about this, and said indifferently, "Don't worry. Now that he has 90 million divine power, how could he be afraid of a few metal beings?" After the realm king was sent away, then he turned to ask Dan Bao about the prophet. Refining the perfect beast magic weapon is the most important thing. His super eternity transformation has reached the level of perfection. There is no way to improve it. Only more powerful secret techniques can be created. And it still needs to combine the power of the beast god. The beast soldier is the key. Lord Prophet has already said that you can go to him at any time. Right here. Dan Bao handed over the roadmap to Jian Wushuang. After taking a look, I found that it was not far. Jian Wushuang just stayed in the Temple of Immortality for a day, and then set off to find the prophet. Hui Qing and Wu Zua stayed in the Temple of Immortality. The prophet is in the God Star domain, not far away. You can arrive in a few days. Swish. Along the way, he also saw all the scenery of the star region of the gods. One after another artifact palaces are suspended. The gods of the four major dimensions of time and space, as well as the gods of the Realm King continent, are all here. It just seemed that there was no lively atmosphere at all. Twilight covered. It's no wonder that the star field of the gods has declined. This is too low-key. Originally, this place was supposed to be very lively. Now it has been switched to the realm of the gods built by practitioners. Jian Wushuang was deeply moved. A few days later, he also went to the place where the prophet lived, thinking that it would be a great hall. Unexpectedly, this place turned out to be a small planet, less than a mile in diameter. Standing on it, you can see the curved world line. Really small. Jian Wushuang the Junior came here to meet the prophet. Jian Wushuang stood above the starry sky and shouted respectfully at a circular house in front of him. Squeak. The door of the house was pushed open, and an old man wearing a mask walked out with his hands behind his back. Jian Wushuang could not feel any breath on the opponent's body. If he hadn't seen it with his naked eyes, he wouldn't even be able to detect the other person's appearance. This is similar to the first time I saw Weiss. The bottom of my heart moved, and I was a little more respectful. Jian Wushuang. Hearing the other party calling his name, he hurriedly landed in front of the other party. Senior, don't be so polite. Take out your divine beast soldier. The prophet didn't mean anything polite, and went straight to the subject. This is naturally the best. Jian Wushuang hurriedly took out the 9 great beasts. Huh. The prophet took a deep breath, glanced at the beast weapon, and said indifferently, "Yes, the refining of this beast weapon is definitely under the guidance of someone. Otherwise in time and space, there is no way made." Someone's advice? Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment, then thought of a person, and secretly said in his heart, "It won't be death." You guessed it right, it really is death. The prophet smiled and said, "When Qishan was refining, he should have consulted that god of death." You know all this? Jian Wushuang was surprised by the other party. And he was a prophet. He knew everything from the past. I don't know if the other party can see through his future. Chapter 6174. If possible, he would like to ask about his teacher. This is not the time. He is here to refine the beast magic weapon. Later, when you are familiar with it, you can ask. But just thinking about it in the bottom of his heart, he suddenly thought of something. If the other party can really predict everything, I am afraid he has already predicted his thoughts. After adjusting, Jian Wushuang was no longer thinking about it. The prophet looked at the beast soldiers one by one, and then asked, Jian Wushuang, what kind of beast soldiers do you want to build? Yep. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised, and secretly guessed in his heart, could it be possible to build it according to his own requirements? Thinking of this, he said without hesitation, Senior, I want to create a beast magic weapon that can fit the power of the starry sky, and at the same time assist my peak secret technique. It's super ancient, this is indeed a good choice. The prophet nodded indifferently, and then added, however, this is not enough. If this is the only case, the beast soldier will become a chicken rib, and it won't help you for long, just you will be abandoned because of your strength. What? Jian Wushuang was first surprised that the other party knew about his super ancient transformation. And then he was surprised that the other party even saw his future path so thoroughly. It was incredible. After a pause, he said respectfully, Junior, please listen and respect. Everything depends on the other party. The first time he saw the prophet, he was already amazed to an unparalleled level. His original intention was indeed to use the power of the beast as an assistant. But listening to the prophets now has even greater use. The power of the beast gods comes from the beast gods of the starry sky. It is not weak in the power of the starry sky, nor is the source of the beast gods weak. Do you know what the beast gods are? The sudden question made Jian Wushuang stunned for a moment, then hesitantly replied, could it be the origin of the beast? Yes. The prophet's eyes flashed, and he smiled lightly. It really is the origin of the beast. But which beast has fallen for I don't know how many times. But his power is scattered in the world, which is what you think is super divine beast. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded silently. In this way Zhonggan is really amazing. A super divine beast, possessing the origin of beast gods, and mastering the power of the starry sky. And he is the exact opposite. With the origin of the starry sky, he is about to master the power of beast gods. Just when he thought so, the prophet said firmly, no, you still have the origin of beast gods. The existence of world beasts is the loophole in this world. Mastering the loopholes can go further, because the rules are only within the radius, not within the bounds. These words are more profound, and Jian Wushuang is a little confused. After thinking about it, the world beast is really a loophole in this world. It can be said and followed, and it can have a strong strength without training. Even the starry sky must guard against the beasts. Thinking about it this way, these cultivators are nothing. Whoa! The prophet took the beast soldier into his body, and then said, the source of the beast plus the source of the starry sky. 2 powers. Do you know how to use it? Use. Jian Wushuang pondered for a while, but he really didn't know. At the beginning, I wanted to be close to Zhong, and I just wanted to know how to coordinate the combination of the 2 forces. But this is not the same as what the prophet said. Zhonggan only has one origin and masters 2 kinds of power. Jian Wushuang, however, had to use the 2 powers that erupted from the 2 origins, which was many times more difficult than the opponent did not know. If you rely on your own knowledge to explore it, it may take billions of years to understand. This has to be his talent and intelligence. Otherwise he will not be able to understand it all his life. Senior, please enlighten me. He could only ask the prophet at this time. The other party knows everything, and maybe he will answer him. Then you have to understand. After the prophet finished speaking, he pointed out. A stream of light entered Jian Wushuang's mind. Then the power of billions of matter gathered in my mind. A string of words floated in front of his eyes. This is a simplified version, and it is the easiest to understand. But the number of words has reached the volume of a world. In an instant. Don't know how long has passed. His eyes were dull. It was not until all of them were fully understood that color appeared in his eyes. After waking up from his enlightenment, Jian Wushuang bowed and saluted with great excitement and admiration. Thank you for the great kindness of the seniors. The juniors have nothing to repay. If necessary, the juniors are willing to go to the mountain of swords and go down to the sea of fire. At this moment, he is even more excited than he succeeded in joining the Tao and attacking the tribulation realm. It was as if he had penetrated the essence of the world at once. The prophet and him, who had never met before, helped him refine the beast magic weapon when they first met, and taught him the use of the two origins. How could he not be grateful? Just moved to tears. I almost got down on my knees. And in his contact with the prophet, he could always feel a gentleness. Kind of familiar. Some kind of affectionate bond. Just don't know where to say it. The prophet smiled and said, I said don't be so polite. But you woke up just in time. And the beast's weapon has also been refined. Refined? Jian Wushuang's surprised mouth couldn't close. Senior prophet, how long have I comprehended? For a time, he did not understand the perception of time. For me it's a month, for you, it may be an era. Or it may be a billion era. In other words, Jian Wushuang's comprehension time just now is infinitely long. And the prophet here, only a month has passed. It took only a month to refine the beast magic weapon. So what does Jian Wushuang say? Too strong. He doesn't know much about the gods in the God Star domain. The strongest is the Realm King God, and the Great Realm King. Perhaps there are still several ancient king gods still alive. Jian Wushuang felt that none of them were as powerful as the prophet in front of him. This is the true God of the world. You refine it first. The prophet handed the refined beast soldier to Jian Wushuang. It is a pair of wings, refined into one beast soldier. Dark red wings. Putting one hand on it, Jian Wushuang felt a force of swallowing. Inhaled is the power of his starry sky. The power of dark blue and dark red are intertwined. It was the birth of pink. Jian Wushuang, according to his previous insights, merged the two forces with each other. This is the same as his fusion with Hui Qing. The power skyrocketed in an instant. His divine body suddenly broke hundreds of millions of divine powers. Jian Wushuang could not control this power. Too strong. Can't get hold of it at all. His current divine body and origin cannot support this powerful force. It seems that your strength is not enough, the prophet said indifferently. Don't worry. When your basic divine power reaches 50 million, you will almost be able to master this power. Chapter 6175. This is the new power. Requires 50 million basic divine power. Jian Wushuang was stunned. His current basic divine power is exactly 35 million. The distance of 50 million seems to be 15 million. It is necessary for him to reach the 9 tribulations realm. That will take a while. He waited. By the way, there are 3 forms of beast soldier. Now it's only the first form. It has a pair of wings. It requires your basic divine power to reach 50 million. The second form requires your basic divine power to reach 100 million. Remember that it is the foundation. Divine power. At that time it was 4 pairs of wings. The third form is also the final form. With 8 pairs of wings, your basic divine power needs to reach 500 million. That is, the basic divine power reaches the 5-star universe god. Jian Wushuang was stunned. The first form is strong like this. In its final form, it has yet to take off. When his basic divine power reaches 500 million, he will almost be able to hang up all the universe gods. The prophet knew what he was thinking, touched the mask and reminded, Little guy, don't underestimate this world. There is something extraordinary in the universe god. Remember this, junior? Jian Wushuang replied respectfully. The prophet nodded slowly. When you can cast your first form, come back to me. I have something for you. Anything else? This time, the prophet helped him so much, and he paid nothing. Now give him something. Jian Wushuang felt that he owed too much for a while, and wanted to shirk. Don't be in a hurry to refuse, it's conditional. The prophet saw everything about him, and he could know without saying anything. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that there were conditions. No conditions, he is embarrassed to ask. Senior, please speak. He was very confident or determined. We'll not let each other down. Help me kill a person, or kill a monster that shouldn't exist in the world. Monster. Jian Wushuang widened his eyes and said, "It can't be Shilu. It's too easy for him. No difficulty." Now the prophet told him where Siru was, and immediately went to kill him. "Yes, it's him." The prophet nodded and said, "He was created by the metal life of the South Dimension. He should not exist in the world, and violated the rules of this world. It's too easy for me, senior prophet. Why don't I mention a few more of these scourges, and he'll take care of them together?" Jian Wushuang is very confident. "A little Shilu, just do what he says. Never frown. Courageous," the prophet said with a smile. "You can deal with Siru first." "No problem. Senior, please help me predict his position. It'll go right away." Jian Wushuang directly took out the divine weapon Huan Kong. "I don't know the exact location, but I can speculate that the other party will find you within an epoch. And no matter where you go, you can't escape." "Ha!" Jian Wushuang was also excited, moved his wrist and said, "Okay, then within an era, I will take the opponent's head." After making a promise with the other party, Jian Wushuang left. Within an epoch, that would be too fast. It just so happened that Metal Life was also looking for him. It is possible to clean up each other together. When walking back to the Immortal Temple, Huiqing and Wuxia went into seclusion. The Realm King also left. Only him, Danbao and Blue were left. Then take advantage of this time to explore the beast soldiers. Sun sign. Jian Wushuang took down the beast soldier and saw a sun sign above it. Unlike the stars, prophet shot really extraordinary. In the next time, in addition to comprehending the divine beasts, he was still cultivating the origin. A 10,000 square meter starry sky spar can also fill a lot of universes. 9 Tribulations Realm. In his origin, a miniature river of time and space appeared. But now there are only 9 universes. 9 universes are just a line. I want to make a river out of it. That's not easy. First, a few lines have to be made. That is, dozens or hundreds of universes. Only he knows how huge the source of the starry sky is. The 10,000 square star spar will soon be used up. Only made a second line. Another 9 perfect universes. In his starry sky, it gradually lit up. Tens of thousands of years passed in a flash. On this day, there are still 3 hours before the arrival of Metal Life. Jian Wushuang left the customs early. He met Wuxia head-on. The other party's face was a little unsightly. Unparalleled. N. Jian Wushuang nodded, and then asked curiously, "Brother Wuxia, what's wrong with you? Is your practice not going well?" Wuxia smiled bitterly and said, "It has nothing to do with cultivation. It's my origin that has a problem." "Isn't this a demigod?" I asked Lord Jiawang about the origin, and I found out that my origin is much worse. That's why worry. "Normal, don't worry. The source is no better than the divine body, don't worry." He patted Wuxia on the shoulder. Speaking of which, he was more anxious than anyone else. Even if you can't figure out your own origin, you have to pretend to be indifferent and enlighten others. No hurry. I have no confidence in the Metal Life that came this time. With me. Jian Wushuang was very confident. This time the Metal Life strikes, it is not a threat. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. When the Metal Life is solved, the King of the World has found us the ruins of an ancient sect, which contains the treasures of the origin of cultivation, and you can go and see it at that time. Count me in. Huiqing walked slowly from the side hall at this time. Obviously there is a problem with the source. It seems everyone is the same. They were worrying about the divine robbery, and Jian Wushuang was worrying about their 9th robbery. The 3 of them got together and chatted for a while. We are ready to go to Zhalong Mountain. But now Zhalong Mountain has been renamed. It was converted into a huge manor by Wu Li and King Shenmu. Few outsiders came, and they drove away many families. Zhenbei City. It means guarding the northern time and space. The layout opened up immediately. Originally thought that Wu Li and Shenmu Wang were going to rebuild the ancient Wood sect, or family power. This way, it will be more atmospheric. In the future, it can also be used as a temporary resting place for the powerhouses of the northern time and space. Let's go, Brother Wu Li is waiting. Yep, just when the 3 of them were about to leave, they were stopped by Danbao. Wait, Danbao walked slowly with the divine scepter, with Brew beside him. What's wrong? Jian Wushuang smiled lightly. Don't worry, you'll be back soon. Seeing that Dan Bao's face was a little nervous, he comforted him a bit. Let Bruce go too, don't underestimate metal life. Wuxia heard the words, nodded and said. There are also many people, be more confident. This made Jian Wushuang very surprised. He didn't expect Wuxia to be so careful this time. Huiking's breath has changed a lot after re-exiting the customs. There is also Wuxia, who is also much stronger. Be careful with this. Oh well. Chapter 6176. He didn't ask much, and there was the divine artifact Huangkong. Tear apart time and space and begin to travel. Feeling the breath of Bruce, the other party is also much stronger. After becoming a demigod early, Wuxia's divine power is not weak. No wonder Dan Bao will let brew together. Unfortunately, that's not necessary. Jian Wushuang bowed his head slightly, and the speed of the shuttle became faster again. In a short while, he arrived at Jinbei City. After 100,000 years of absence, this place has undergone tremendous changes. Without the power of smog, there are many fewer practitioners. Now all the people in the city are loose cultivators. Even the slightest threat was sent away by Wu Li. Whoa! As soon as they entered the city, Wu Li and King Shimu found them. I said you are here by the time. Wu Li smiled lightly. There is still a quarter of an hour before the time predicted by the prophet, and it is estimated that the metal life has entered the city. You made the city so clean just to welcome metal life? There are very few practitioners in the city, and if there are strange practitioners, they can be found immediately. Forget it. Wu Li didn't explain anything, and said, the target is 2 people, 2 metal beings. Let's find them separately. When you find an explosion of divine power, the city is not too big, and you can catch up in a short time. Arrive. No problem. Everyone just got together, and then scattered again. Jian Wushuang went to Beicheng. For directions 5 areas. 6 people are more than wrong. Metal life has no breath. They can only be caught with the naked eye. It's a bit of a hassle. In fact, sitting at home and waiting is not bad. Jian Wushuang was very relaxed, and took the opportunity to observe Jinbei City. In the city, planning is very particular. It should come from the hands of the Shinmu King. After all, this guy was also the ancestor of the sect. The entire Jinbei City is divided into core, inner periphery and periphery. You can walk around freely. The inner circle requires a token, and the token issued in the city lord's mansion cannot enter without a token. The core is even more solemn. Jian Wushuang even felt where his mansion was, where there is a large hall, a full 100,000. Only the 9 tribulations realm is eligible to enter. There are now only 5 locations. Obviously, it was prepared for the 9 tribulations realm in northern time and space. The center of the 100,000 hall is the Qingquan Hall, where things are discussed. Even the city lord's mansion is on the periphery, and has not been set to the core. Shinmu Wang really took great pains. Just when he was observing Jinbei City, with his mind power. But I felt a breath drop in an instant. Strangeness. Jian Wushuang frowned, and his divine power rushed in that direction. There is only one possibility for the rapid decline of divine power. Injured. But there was no movement in the city. How can you get hurt if you don't fight? It's this critical moment again. Must go and take a look. In this regard, he did not notify the others, but went to see it alone. Whoa. Huh. His eyes twitched. The scene in front of him startled him. A skinny old man with a high hat was holding the Shinmu King with one hand. The palm of the hand pinched the neck of the Shinmu King. The other hand just pierced through the Shinmu King's chest. Stop! Jian Wushuang shouted angrily, flying directly at the skinny old man. Next to the skinny old man, there was a fat man. He saw Jian Wushuang rushing towards him, his eyes filled with joy, and a long needle escaped from his body, and pierced directly into Jian Wushuang's body. The stinging pain didn't stop Jian Wushuang. He still kicked the skinny old man far away, and destroyed several buildings. This movement also attracted the attention of the others who came quickly. After kicking away the skinny old man, King Shinmu got out of the predicament. Horror also appeared on his face. He searched the place just now and encountered 2 cultivators who had no breath. So he went up to ask. Unexpectedly, the other party suddenly attacked him. Fatty gave him a shot, and then the divine body began to weaken. The old man took the opportunity to squeeze his neck, constantly absorbing his divine power. Under the double blow, he pierced through his divine body again, injured him directly. It is now out of combat. Jian Wushuang, watch out for that fat man. There was fear in the eyes of King Shenmu, and he didn't know that Jian Wushuang was also attacked. It's just that Jian Wushuang is not so obvious. Don't worry, leave it to me. Jian Wushuang condensed a large group of life force and injected it into the body of the Shenmu king. When he reached this state, the power of life did not increase. But he is much stronger, and the life force he just gave is almost all he has. When you get hurt, you can't recover. But he is confident that he will not be hurt. Whoa! The skinny old man stood up from the broken rubble and came before the crowd again. Hui Qing and others also arrived at this time. Looking at the strange old man and the fat man in front of them, they asked, "You are the metal life?" Jian Wushuang. The skinny old man didn't answer Hui Qing's words, but looked at Jian Wushuang and said in a cold voice, "Did you kill Miluo Guang now?" "That's right." Jian Wushuang clenched his fists. He didn't use super eternal transformation just now. With only 40 million divine power, he kicked the opponent out. It feels like metal life is not so good. It was very easy at this time. It was the injection just now that made him feel a little itchy. "Old guy, how about another place?" Wu Li had murderous intent in his eyes, and he pointed out the city and said, "Dare you dare to go out and fight with me? My goal is Jian Wushuang. It has nothing to do with you." The skinny old man kept staring at Jian Wushuang, not caring about others at all. Jian Wushuang stood up and said coldly, "Then go out and fight." After speaking, he immediately vacated. Looking at the metal life below, he hooked his fingers. Seeing that the other party also got up, he flew towards the lake outside the city. There are many small islands in the lake. After randomly picking an uninhabited island, Jian Wushuang stopped. Seeing the people behind him following up, they slowly descended. Boom! His feet hit the ground, and he moved his wrists. Swish! Metal Life and Wuxia and others also came one by one. "Don't talk nonsense, just do it." Jian Wushuang couldn't wait a little longer, and for some reason, his fighting spirit decreased sharply. His fighting spirit was high, but his heart was a little flustered, and he was a little anxious. "Want to fight quickly?" When Metal Life heard the words, the corners of his mouth rose. "They also don't want to talk nonsense. Lord Gallo, please also hand over Jian Wushuang to me." The fat man bowed respectfully to the thin Lord Gallo. "Okay, but the rest are mine." The skinny old man was a little dissatisfied with the fat man jumping away from Jian Wushuang, but he still agreed. Watching each other divide them up, Wuxia was very unconvinced and shouted coldly, "Old guy, you will look good later. They are all mine." Jian Wushuang pointed at the fat and thin two and said, "Let's start quickly." Chapter 6177. He clenched his fists with both hands and shouted suddenly, "What?" The super eternity is instantly condensed. It rushed over in an instant. Without giving the opponent time to prepare, he punched Fatty in the face. Then another knee kick. Hand-to-hand combat. Add fists. Driven by a powerful divine force, he was simply ravaging the opponent. This scene also shocked Wuxia and the others. After Jian Wushuang performed the super ancient transformation, his divine power reached 80 million. Continued to ravage that fat metal life. From the island hit the sky. Outsiders watched him gain the upper hand, but he knew that his attack just now was like hitting cotton, like water off a duck's back. The fat metal life, after being punched again by him, didn't even back away, only slightly tilted his neck back, then turned his head and sneered at Jian Wushuang. Seeing the opponent's provocative eyes, Jian Wushuang became a little anxious. The hands condensed a blue beam of light and blasted it towards the opponent's head. Boom! With a strong explosion, the shaking lake rose. The sky is foggy, but at the moment when the fog disappeared, the fat metal life was intact. "It's me now!" The metal life slammed directly into Jian Wushuang's front door. Boom! This time, Jian Wushuang's divine body was directly cracked. And he can feel that the metal life is stronger. For a time, it was no longer able to gain the upper hand. Original dojo. He clenched his fists and exploded with divine power again. After fighting for such a long time, his divine power has dropped to 75 million, and after using the Yuanyuan dojo again, his divine power has reached about 85 million. Clang. The more you fight, the more you feel wrong. He directly drew the sword of myriad tribulations, wanting to fight quickly. There is no longer any hiding. Time and space reincarnation. Sword shadows fill the sky. A huge sword shadow condensed and slashed towards the metal life. Facing Jianying, chubby metal life's eyes widened, revealing a surprised expression. I'm waiting for this sword. Deep in his hands, there is a miniature black hole in the palm of his hand. The powerful source power that erupted from the reincarnation of time and space was actually absorbed by the black hole. At this time, Jian Wushuang had already begun to weaken, and the metal life has improved a lot. Divine power has reached 80 million. Flying body directly knocked Jian Wushuang out of the island and fell into the lake. At this time, the people watching the battle below also saw that something was wrong. No, Brother Wushuang didn't use the Yuanyuan dojo? Wuzwa was a little surprised, feeling that Jian Wushuang seemed very weak. At this time, King Shenmu remembered the time when Jian Wushuang rescued him, and exclaimed, "No, Wushuang was attacked by a sneak attack. It was definitely attacked by the opponent with a poison needle before." What poison needles? Hui Qing and the others looked over in unison. I don't know, but after the poison needle enters the god's body, it will weaken the god's power. I was hit by this sneak attack at the beginning, and I didn't have the ability to fight back for many years. After listening to Blue, his expression became solemn, and he shouted angrily, "Don't look at it, prepare to save Jian Wushuang." Needless to say, Jian Wushuang must have been poisoned. It's just that Jian Wushuang's divine body is powerful, and after being shot by a poison needle, it has been suppressing the poison. Unfortunately, during the battle, the suppression slowed down, and the poison followed. Whoa! Just as they were about to start, the metal life gallows stopped him. Your opponent is me. But Bruce didn't care so much. His divine power suddenly exploded, directly surpassing 70 million, and shouted angrily, "Get out of my way!" With one hand, he shot out the air wave trying to kill Gallo, but it was easily absorbed by the other party into the black hole in his hand. Don't attack with divine power, fight hand to hand. Everyone's divine power was restrained and stepped forward again. But Hui Qing, who was behind him, didn't move. You stop him, it'll save Brother Wushuang. Wuzwa was stunned when he heard the words and said anxiously, "The metal life above is stronger. It is better to solve this old man first, and then go to rescue Wushuang together." That fat man's metal life has reached 80 million in divine power. They are not opponents. When Hui Qing heard the words, he shook his head. "Give it to me." As soon as he finished speaking, his divine power suddenly exploded. He saw everything just now. Jian Wushuang is actually able to kill fatty metal life. It is a pity that the divine power was weakened, and then the divine power was absorbed by the metal life. So they can't beat the opponent. But Hui Qing's divine power was not weakened. The future changes. Hui Qing shouted angrily, and a golden light erupted. Everyone was dumbfounded. Future body. Future changes. You broke through? Wuzwa was stunned. Hui Qing's current divine power exceeded 90 million. The figure rushed into the sky in a flash. At this time, Jian Wushuang in the sky was ravaged by metal life. The divine body was almost absorbed by the opponent. Even the super eternity can no longer be maintained. Now your opponent is me. Hui Qing rushed forward. A black long stick appeared in his hand at some point, and the metal life flew out with one stick. The other hand grabbed the weak Jian Wushuang. This time, the blow to Jian Wushuang was too great. I thought it was easy to grasp, but I didn't expect it to come to this point. Looking weakly at Hui Qing. Be careful, he absorbs divine power. Do not worry. Hui Qing nodded and shouted at the king of Shenmu below. Send him back to the immortal temple first. Seeing this, King Shenmu immediately stepped forward to catch Jian Wushuang. Before falling into a coma, Jian Wushuang took out the divine weapon Huan Kong, then passed out. Ground. Seeing Huiking's outburst, Bruce suddenly came to a conclusion. Not hiding anything, he clenched his fists with both hands and shouted angrily. Divine power directly exceeded 80 million. Phew, Wuxia took a deep breath. I didn't expect Bruce to be so powerful. He's mine. Blue pointed to the metal life Gallo. The figure flashed and disappeared. Appeared again already behind Gallo. One punch knocked down the opponent's top hat. Gallo hadn't reacted yet, and his hands didn't know how to resist. But he was knifed by Brew and chopped off an arm. In the crack between the arms, there are metal parts that are looked at very small. Gallo, who was holding his arm, quickly stepped back. Miscalculation. How can the guy from the Palungia tribe be so powerful? He came from the southern time and space, and received news from Miluo. According to the opponent, he created that fat metal life. Then he adjusted his own power. Even in the Realm King continent, the two of them are considered the ultimate powerhouses among the demigods. According to calculations, no matter how powerful Jian Wushuang is, it will not reach the demigods. But just after the fight, he discovered that Jian Wushuang's strength had reached an unimaginable level. Fortunately, he made preparations in advance and had toxins that weakened divine power. It's a pity that he didn't think that Jian Wushuang's helpers would be so powerful. Chapter 6178. In the original Wanlu Shenmu, Miluo had never seen Wuxia and Huiqing. These are two variables. In fact, besides Jian Wushuang, the biggest danger is the Shenmu King. But this time, King Shenmu didn't show any dazzling performance. On the contrary, as soon as it came, it severely injured the other party. What he didn't count was Huiqing. And now Bruce has become so powerful. It was easy to suppress him. Gallo's divine power is only 75 million. Withdraw. As soon as his heart moved, he took out a compass. Number 20, don't fight, go first. Failed. This time his plan failed. But that doesn't mean Miluo's revenge plan will fail. At this time, 3 metal beings also came to Jinbei City territory. Not far away, Gallo's speed can find each other in an hour. Go. Without any hesitation, he directly crushed the compass. A space exchange was made. On the deserted island, a simple house appeared in an instant, but Gallo disappeared in place. What's the situation? Wooly was taken aback, but Bruce understood and shouted angrily. It's a space exchange, he hasn't run far, he split up to chase. It's better to get rid of that fat man first. Wuxia pointed to the battle in the sky. At this time, Huiqing fought with the abandoned metal life. After creating a new peak secret method, Huiqing's future has almost doubled. Divine power has reached 90 million. Continue to suppress metal life. I'll help you. With a flash of Bruce, he wanted to go forward and help Huiqing solve the other party first. Huiqing raised his foot and kicked the metal life away, turned his head and said, "No need. Whoever you go after, I will catch up with you later." "Are you alone?" Blue hesitated, then agreed. This time, the power of metal life exceeded their expectations, and they had to cut down the grass and roots, and not let the other party run away. Gallo has been injured, let's chase separately. It is good. Blue, Wuxia, and Wooly, the 3 of them headed in all directions. Only Huiqing was left to fight against the strongest metal life. Saw the rest of the people gone. Huiqing's breath shook again. I think it's because you absorb more or explode more. He abandoned the long stick and suddenly gathered divine power in his hands. It just broke through 90 million in an instant. The huge divine power gathered in his hands and turned into a golden beam of light. What? Boom! The metal life that fell to the ground looked up and saw the oncoming divine beam of light and was immediately overjoyed. Stretch out your hands and start to absorb. The powerful divine power is constantly gathering in the body of the metal life. Soon the divine power of the metal life broke through to 90 million, which was already at the same level as Huiqing. However, Huiqing did not intend to stop, and continued to increase his divine power. The future changes have been exerted to the extreme. Divine power is still gathering. 93 million. 94 million. 9,505. What? This time, metal life couldn't hold it anymore, and his limit was 90 million. The next power completely supported him to the extreme. Eat up. Huiqing saw the opportunity, and with a thought, the silver long stick flew out from behind. Follow the beam of light, and go straight to the metal life. Pft! The long stick follows the beam of light, piercing the divine body of the metal life. It's now. Huiqing added divine power again. Boom. The metal life that pierced through the divine body could no longer be resisted. The divine body was smashed by the beam of light, and all limbs were turned to ashes. Only a chubby head fell to the ground. Huiqing just glanced at it. An array of light burst out, smashing the head of the metal life. With a movement of thought force, he glanced at the entire territory of Jinbei City. It was soon discovered that 3 powerful breaths had gathered together. The figure flashed, and it moved forward at full speed, flying in that direction. Fights within the territory, wave after wave. On the contrary, Jian Wushuang only participated in the first battle, and then lay down. At this time, he was in the Temple of Immortality, receiving treatment from Dan Bao. Through the crystal ball, King Shenmu was watching the troubles faced by Blue and others. Gallo has been seriously injured and has little fighting power. But their crisis has only just begun. 2 familiar faces appeared in Jinbei City. There is also a burly figure with no face. His body is dark, how to puppet, like a simple metal life. The Shenmu King stared at the crystal ball and exclaimed, "It is incredible that the owner of the pyramid could create such a powerful life." Lord Realm King said that this crisis is not a threat to the destruction of life. Dan Bao lowered his head and sighed. "I don't know if I can stop it." "How long will it take to restore Jian Wushuang?" asked the Shenmu King. Now Huiqing alone may not be able to stop it. Killing a metal life, injuring a metal life. But now there are 3 more metal beings. It seemed that he was stronger than the fat man who was killed. It's hard to stop them. Dan Bao gathered the power of life in both hands, and kept restoring Jian Wushuang. It will take a day, his divine body is too damaged. King Shenmu frowned, clenched his fists and said, "Give me a ball of life force, I have to save them." But Dan Bao was a little worried. "There's no time. Do you want to watch them go to death?" Shenmu Wang took out the divine weapon Huankong and said, "If Huankong is there, I can take them to escape." Only then did Dan Bao nodded in agreement, condensed 2 huge forces of life, and handed it over to the Shenmu King. "Be careful, N." Shenmu Wang nodded. In Jinbei City, in a narrow alley, the 3 blues blocked Gallo, and the 3 new metal beings. This made Bruce stunned. Unexpectedly, there are 3 more. Metal life has no breath, and he does not know the strength of the other party. But he has the guts, because he got the dragon god treasure that soared from the Shenmu King. The fists were clenched, and the divine power was directly raised to 80 million. Today you can't leave. Wu Li and Wu Zhua also broke out together, and their divine power exceeded 70 million. 3 terrifying breaths rose in the city. At this time, Huiqing also came with a bang, fell in front of the crowd, turning slowly, looking at Gallo. "Is this your helper?" Huiqing's eyes had war intent. Jian Wushuang was defeated, and he had to fight everything alone. Hearing this, Gallo looked nervous, knowing that his subordinates must have been killed. "Wonderful," a beautiful voice sounded. The short-haired girl in metal life came out, clapped her hands and said, "Why is Jian Wushuang not here at such a wonderful moment?" Her goal is Jian Wushuang. "I have no interest in these people in front of me. If there was a fight, she was there, but not now." Chapter 6179. Your opponent is me. Huiqing pointed at himself with his thumb and said, "But you have no chance to see Jian Wushuang." With a move of divine power, it instantly rose to its peak. Seeing this, Gallo quickly persuaded, "Lanyan, go and kill them." Behind the short-haired girl, there was a short-haired boy standing with gloomy eyes. Disgusted with Gallo's orders, he frowned and said, "Master Gallo, I don't seem to need you here." "What do you mean?" Gallo took a half-step back. He also felt that the 3 metal beings created by Miluo had some problems with their characters. In addition, Miluo had already fallen, and there was no way to control these 3 people. Swish! The short-haired boy moved, and came directly behind Gallo, A knife in his hand cut off Gallo's head in an instant. The round head rolled down to Huiking's feet. After losing his body, Gallo didn't really fall, his eyes rolled, and he scolded. "You traitors, I'm Miluo's eldest brother, you dare to shoot at me." This scene made Huiqing and the others stunned. Unexpectedly, Metal Life will also fight infighting. For a time they were all stunned. The short-haired boy Lanyan shot again, crushing Gallo's head with one foot. "Noisy." The short-haired girl frowned and complained. "Why are you stepping on it?" The two answered each other. Gallo's death was not taken seriously at all. As for the burly figure behind the two, he didn't say a word from beginning to end. "Just follow behind Lan Yin and Lan Shui. It's your turn now." The girl Lan Shui pointed at Huiqing, then turned to look at Wu Li and the others and said, "Let's go together, we're in a hurry." Wu Li looked at everything in front of him and felt that they had no advantage, so he stood up and asked, "Aren't you guys with Gallo? This old guy has nothing to do with us." Lan Yin stood in the back, shaking her head dashingly. "Since you and Gallo are not in the same group, why are you still chasing Jian Wushuang?" This made him a little confused. Hearing what Gallo meant, he wanted to avenge Miluo, who made Lan Yin and Lan Shui. Lan Yin and Lan Shui also avenged Miluo. Now the two groups are at odds. It is indeed a bit rounded. Lan Shui smiled lightly and explained, "Chase and kill Jian Wushuang is a task we have created. If we kill him, we will be free. Of course we must do it." As soon as these words came out, there was no room for maneuver. Wu Li also stepped back with a dark face. Huiqing frowned, and immediately made a fist. He punched out, but was easily dodged by Lan Shui. The moment he turned sideways, an elbow knocked Huiqing away. Later, Wu Li and Wu's two-sided attack was also easily cracked by Lan Shui. 1 foot and 1, sent to meet Huiqing. Boom! The entire Jinbei city was also destroyed. The Shenmu king, who had just arrived by manipulating the divine artifact Huan Kong, was dumbfounded. "I just left for a while, but I didn't expect to just come back and find that the opponents have changed." Gallo and the fat man were gone. 3 more metal beings appeared, and more powerful. Huiqing and the others attacked again. But Metal Life was useless even to absorb divine power, so the 3 of them were unable to fight back. This scene made the Shenmu king in the air not dare to move. The 3 new special beings first attacked their own people and killed Gallo. And then the cold girl started to fight against Huiqing and others. It is said to be fighting, but it is unilaterally beating everyone. Huiqing's 90 million divine power actually had no room to fight back in front of the opponent. Not to mention Blue and Wu Li. Boom! The newly rebuilt Jinbei city was destroyed in an instant. Huiqing climbed out of the ruins, looked at the cold girl in front of her in disbelief, and fear appeared in her heart for the first time. This fear had never happened before. He never imagined that after the breakthrough, he would be so vulnerable. Previously, he took over the burden of Jian Wushuang and killed Metal Life. "I thought this time the threat was over. Unexpectedly, this is just the beginning. Too weak. I wonder if that Jian Wushuang will give us some surprises." The arrogant young man stood aside, just glanced at Huiqing and others, and felt a little boring, and reminded the cold girl Lan Shui. End it now. It's really that his hands are itchy, and he wants to go up and try it. Helplessly, Huiqing and the others couldn't bear to fight. "I can only think of going to solve Jian Wushuang. Then it's over." The high cold girl raised the corners of her mouth. Her hands suddenly gathered together, and a red light burst out. The powerful divine power made the entire Jinbei city tremble. Huiqing's expression changed, and she turned her head and shouted at Wu Li, "Get out of the way!" After speaking, he dodged to Bruce's side. At this time, Bruce had lost his ability to move. He grabbed Bruce with one hand and wanted to step back. But the red light has swept the earth and the void. There is no escape. In the red light and shadow, Huiqing leaked despair. Boom! After the loud noise, the entire Jinbei city was completely turned into ruins. The arrogant young man Lan Yen, and which black metal life was suspended in the sky. The high cold girl Lan Shui below, but her clothes have become a little worn out. But her breath has not changed in any way, and her divine power has not decreased because of the previous attack. There is still a faint breath. Lan Shui heard the words and wanted to make another move, but he was stopped by Lan Yan. Forget it, these cultivators are too weak. There is no need to kill them. It is better to keep them. Maybe they will fight with us with Jian Wushuang. And it will be interesting at that time. Good idea. Lan Shui raised his head and blinked his eyes. Absolutely reliable. The Shenmu king in the sky heard all this, but his face was dark, and he roared. You will not succeed. When Jian Wushuang comes, you will all be finished. Ha! Lan Shui turned his head, looked at the Shenmu king, and said indifferently. Jian Wushuang is here. It's hard to say whether we are finished or not, but it is very simple to let you finish now. As soon as these words came out, Shenmu Wang's complexion changed dramatically. He hesitated for a while, but still burst out all his divine power. The green aura on his body suddenly rose, and the arc flashed. Then try it. He couldn't escape, he could only fight. Lan Shui slowly walked towards him, stretched out a palm and said in surprise, Aren't you afraid of death? She was a little curious why the Shenmu king jumped out and obstructed her. Afraid? King Shenmu was afraid of death. But what can we do? Okay, I'll spare your life. Lan Shui retracted his palm, his tone flat. That's it. King Shenmu was stunned for a moment, thinking that the other party looked down on him. But he didn't even make a move and shouted, What do you want to do? Obviously they can kill them all, but not let them die. Hearing this, Lan Shui turned to look at King Mu and said, For revenge, it's as simple as that. I hope you'll be there when we meet Jian Wushuang. Don't let us down. Chapter 6180. After speaking, he followed Lan Yin and left. The direction to go is the star field of the gods. King Shenmu looked at the backs of the three with mixed feelings in his heart. This time there is a real crisis. There is no room for resistance. The mighty Huiqing could not last for a quarter of an hour in the opponent's hands. No matter how strong Jian Wushuang is, where can it be? After all, it is only the 8 tribulations realm. At present, the 3 special beings already have the power of the universe gods. They are far from rivals. It was not until the back of the metal life could be seen that the Shenmu king calmed down and hurriedly went to find Huiqing and the others. In a rubble, they found Huiqing and others. As soon as the thought force wrapped everyone, they activated the divine artifact Magic Sky, which directly tore apart the time and space, and also moved towards the star field of the gods. Immortal Temple. After King Shenmu brought everyone back, Danbao quickly recovered the injuries of Huiqing and others. At this time, they all sat cross-legged above the Immortal Temple, thinking about how to fight. Huiqing was extremely lonely. Fighting spirit dropped a lot. Future body. It's his ultimate secret. The future will change, and that is the super secret method that he can rely on to the universe gods. But in the face of metal life, it is still useless. Was brutally killed. No ability to fight back at all. For a while, it has not completely recovered. The blow this time was not only great for Huiqing, but also for the rest of the people. King Shenmu was completely convinced, unable to keep up with the rhythm of Huiqing and Jian Wushuang, and even more so in the face of metal life. On the contrary, it was Wu Li, who also joked in a leisurely manner. Don't panic, with Wushuang brother here, we will not lose. It's not me who will tell you that when I cooperated with Wushuang brother. This Shenmu brother knows that it is very difficult and dangerous. Back then, the unparalleled brother was only an emperor, so he dared to fight against Gula. But now a small metal life is nothing. Yes, Wu Zhua also said at this time. I have known Wushuang brother very early. When I was a Daojun I beat him to the top. Now it should be no problem to fight a cosmic god in the 8 tribulations realm. The optimistic duo's words softened the atmosphere. But at this moment, a familiar voice came. I can't win. Everyone turned their heads and looked in the direction of the voice. And the person who came was Jian Wushuang. He has completely recovered now, but the gap in divine power cannot be made up. Huiqing was defeated very badly, and he died when he went. The key point is that he doesn't even have the confidence to win. Brother Wushuang. Brother Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Everyone opened their mouths. This time, I'm the one who's implicated you. Jian Wushuang said helplessly. I didn't expect that these metal beings would be so powerful, making everyone feel ashamed. Hui Qing shook his head and said, Don't say that. Let's fight together if we have something to do. If we didn't kill metal life back then, there would be no of life, let alone our present. The Shenmu King knows this most clearly, because he was only scattered before. But now he is the master of the 9 tribulations realm universe. So he is the most qualified to understand and should share. With light in Jian Wushuang's eyes, he turned his head to look at Dan Bao, and said, I have contacted the prophet. You can go to the prophet to hide. I will use the divine weapon Huangkong, go to the distant star field, and take them away. Let away. He had already contacted the prophet, and Hui Qing and others could just go there. And they could also ask the prophet for a lesson or two. Anyway, the goal of metal life is not them. Hearing this, Dan Bao took a deep breath, but did not nod his head in agreement. After hesitating for a while, he said, I have a way to defeat the metal life. Yep. Everyone was stunned when they heard the words, but Bruce frowned, as if thinking of something. Fusion. Hearing these 2 words, Wu Zhuo became excited. You mean let Wushuang brother merge with Hui Qing? This method is good. As long as Jian Wushuang appears, it won't work if God comes. After seeing Jian Wushuang's strength, he had a great influence on Wu Zhuo. At that time, Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing had so much divine power. But after fusion, they were comparable to the God of the universe. Much stronger than they are now. Now Hui Qing and Jian Wushuang's divine power is around 90 million. If this is merged, wouldn't the entire Realm King continent go sideways? After hearing that, Bruce shook his head and explained, It's not fusion with the secret method created by the King of the world. It's the fusion of our pulsars and people. What? This time Jian Wushuang also leaked surprise and asked, Is it possible that there are also your clansmen in the Realm King continent? Dan Bao shook his head. I merge with Bruce. He and Blue can also merge once. And it was the last fusion of the Palunga clan. Of course, not a fusion like the Great Elder. It is the fusion of flesh and blood. To put it simply, Dan Bao abandoned the fleshly body of the God of life, leaving only one consciousness, just like the Realm King. Bruce absorbed the God of life, and he already had 80 million divine powers. After integrating Dan Bao, he might be able to directly become the God of the universe. Avoid the trouble of crossing the robbery. Absolutely not. This time, Jian Wushuang was not alone in objecting. There are also Wu Li and Shenmu Wang. The former has been staying in the Temple of Immortality, and has been with Dan Bao for a long time. And his feelings are there. The latter is the greatest benefit. Now I have to sacrifice for them again, and I can't bear it. There is no other way. Only by merging with Bruce can I have a chance to defeat the metal life. Dan Bao grinned and said with a smile, Don't worry, it's not really falling. I will follow the Realm King in the future. Like adults become a conscious body, but there is no way to restore your divine power. Jian Wushuang walked over slowly. He really didn't want to drag Dan Bao anymore. He patted the opponent's shoulder and said, I still have room to improve, so I don't necessarily lose. But, Dan Bao looked up at him with determination in his eyes. No but, Jian Wushuang was more determined. He can no longer look at the people around him to die. This time, it was good luck, or that those metal beings were out of character and did not kill. Otherwise the consequences would be unbelievable. Hui Qing and others almost fell. He didn't dare to gamble anymore. Whoa! At this moment the Realm King came. Seeing that everyone was there, breathed a sigh of relief. Jian Wushuang, come with me. The King of the Realm beckoned. The King of the Realm has summoned me. When they heard the great Realm King summoned, everyone was stunned. That is an existence comparable to Zamasu, and can be ranked among the top big men in the entire Realm King continent. Are you going to summon them? It seems that the King of the Realm pleads for mercy, and finds a way for them to break the game. Otherwise, it would be meaningless to cultivate and catch up with metal beings based on the current situation. I won't go. Blue stayed where he was, turning his head to look at Dan Bao. Dan Bao is the of life. The temple is not so easy to break open, but it is also dangerous. As a divine envoy, you cannot leave. Chapter 6181. To leave a guardrail. The Realm King naturally had no opinion, looked at Jian Wushuang and said, "Don't worry, the metal life is not terrible. The terrible opponent has not yet appeared." "Who?" Jian Wushuang froze for a moment then said, "Is it Zama's?" Now the metal life has the power of the universe god. If it is not terrible, he really does not know who is the opponent. The Realm King shook his head and replied, "It's Shilu." Shilu. Wuxia widened his eyes and said, "How strong can he be? And how long does it take to leave the northern time and space? It won't be stronger than metal life." Huiqing was also a little shocked. He didn't expect that there were opponents stronger than metal life, which put a lot of pressure on them. "Don't worry, the Great Realm King will personally instruct you this time, and will transform your divine body. After a while, it will not be a problem to deal with these metal beings, but the threat of Shilu is greater. It all depends on your arrival at the Great Realm King. Where's the result of the training?" The Realm King gave everyone a boost of morale. Can't frown. Wu Li's face was ecstatic when he heard the words, and he transformed his divine body to instruct them in their cultivation. This is so important. Without this threat, it is estimated that it would be difficult to see a person like the Great Realm King in his life. This time, we must seize the opportunity. Let's go. The Realm King waved his hand and ripped apart the space of the god's star field at will. After all, it is also a Realm King, and naturally has the ability to travel through time and space. Even if there is no combat power, his own realm is still there. Lord Realm King, those metal beings won't find the Temple of Immortality. Jian Wushuang was a little worried about the safety of Dan Bao and others. "Don't worry, this is the star field of the gods. It's not your turn to make trouble with those metal beings. You just need to cultivate well." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and then brought him in and followed the king of the realm away. After entering the crack, the Realm King left behind a clone. "Brew." He looked at Blue and Danbao below, but there was worry in his eyes. The reason why he took Jian Wushuang and others to go first was because he was afraid of affecting their cultivation. "Lord Realm King." Danbao's face was indifferent, and he said, "What do you need me to do? Just say it." He has already faced it calmly. Although it is only the of life, he is also the of space and time, and he has a premonition. "Danbao, I want to give Brew a mission. This mission is very dangerous. With Bru's current strength, if you go, you will die." Jia Wang's expression was a little gloomy. Danbao had already sensed it, and said indifferently, "Is it preventing metal life?" "Yes." The Realm King nodded. Bruce stood silently by the side. He didn't know what to say at this time. "I just hate myself for not being strong enough." Long before the metal life came out, he already had a hunch. At that time, he worked hard to cultivate and raised his divine power to more than 80 million. But still can't solve the metal life. Now can only be forced to merge with Dan Bao. In fact, it is more like he unilaterally absorbed the divine flesh of Dan Bao. In this way, you can quickly increase your divine power. At the beginning, Bruce had integrated the powerhouses of the entire Palunga clan to achieve what he has achieved today, relying on the foundation laid at that time. But the potential is limited after all. He is not a human race, and his understanding is also average. It may be impossible to hit the universe in this lifetime. However, after absorbing the incarnation of Pill Treasure, his potential and comprehension can still be improved, and it may be possible to hit the universe in one fell swoop. Now the choice is in Danbao's hands. It's not the purpose to stop metal life. The Realm King didn't want Danbao to lose his physical body, so he said helplessly, "It's to stop Shilu and stop Shilu from swallowing metal life. Once Shilu absorbs metal life, it will be difficult for the Temple of Immortality to stop him. The Great Realm King can't take action in person, and even the northern time and space will be in danger. That's what worries him. It's a pity that his physical body is gone. Otherwise, these juniors would not need to come out to fight." The Realm King was also very guilty, but there was nothing he could do. "Leave this matter to me." Danbao nodded and said, "It's useless for me to have a physical body anyway." After comforting himself, he turned to look at Bruce. "Let's start. Now that the metal beings have entered the star domain of the gods, There is not much time left for them. Danbao's body turned into golden light and blended with Bruce. At this moment, the divine power began to change drastically. On the other hand, Jian Wushuang and the others were taken by the King of Realm to the island where the King of the Realm was. After the crowd came, they honestly waited in place. Through causal induction, they are actually not far from the Immortal Temple, and it only takes a quarter of an hour to tear the void to reach the Immortal Temple. But those metal beings wanting to come here are tantamount to reaching the sky. Even if Zamas wants to storm this place, it is difficult. You guys are waiting here, I'll go in and say hello. After the king said, he walked towards the wooden house on the island. At this time, the door of the wooden house was actively opened, and an old blue-skinned old man walked out. Everyone brought it. Well, here we are. Don't ask. The only one who can treat the king of the northern realm so respectfully is the king of the great realm. Jian Wushuang also hurriedly bowed his hands and said, I have seen the great realm king. The great realm king. The rest of the people also greeted them in unison. The great realm king just nodded slightly, glanced at everyone and said, each of you will have a chance to be pointed. The time is only 1 year. But in the time house, you can quickly cultivate the 10,000 era time. That is to say, after 5 years from the outside world, all of you can leave. Only point to one person at a time. 5 people is 5 years. Naturally, the crowd did not have any objections and stood by and let it go. Who goes first? The great realm king glanced at everyone. Hui Qing stood up at this time and replied, I will go first. Okay, come with me. The great realm king led the way, and Hui Qing followed. The rest sat cross-legged and waited. The realm king stood aside, thinking about the immortal temple in his heart. At this time, Blue completely absorbed Danbao's incarnation of God, and a strong golden light also erupted from. My current power has reached such a level. Blue couldn't believe it. His divine power had exceeded 100 million. And it hasn't really worked out. He clenched his fist slightly, and the surrounding time and space began to tremble, and some tiny cracks appeared. Danbao looked at all this and let out a smile. It's just that his current figure is a bit illusory. Like the realm king, he has lost his physical body and divine body. After all, he has left his origin, and he can then comprehend the true meaning of life and improve the northern time and space. This is what it looks like after losing the physical body. Metal Life just left Zhalong Mountain, just on the edge of the God's star field. You only need to kill one of Lan Yin and Lan Shui, Bruce. As for the man, don't pay attention. Leave no room for the attack. Kill one, and you don't need to worry about the rest. The king of the realm explained carefully. Chapter 6182. This is very important. As long as one metal life is killed, Siru's plan will not be completed. Blue was very confident at this time and said calmly, Don't worry, my lord, I will kill them all. After speaking, he slowly rose into the air, gestured to the two of them, and the figure burst out. The surrounding time and space were torn apart in an instant, and then Blue also fled into the void. Shoo! After a few breaths, Bruce appeared in a desolate pile of rocks, standing above a huge gravel, waiting for the appearance of metal life. He has now reached the level of the universe god, completely mastered the surrounding space-time rules, and naturally discovered the location of the metal life. No longer as before, you need to rely on breath and use thought power to probe. Now you only need to master time and space, and instantly discover everything around you. Boom! In just a moment, the 3 figures had already arrived in front of Bruce. It's you! The cold girl frowned when she saw Brew, because she found that Bruce's breath had changed, like a different person. The arrogant Lan Yin didn't take Blue in the slightest and sneered. The defeated general has recovered quite quickly. Why don't you rush to die? Tsk tisk. Brew moved his wrists, took off the thick skin, stared at the 3 metal beings with cold eyes, and said arrogantly, You should go together, or come one by one. When Lan Yin heard the words, she was stunned for a while, then she covered her stomach and laughed loudly. Did Lan Shui just beat you up? You have to fight 3 times. Don't you know if you try it? Bruce put on a stance, ready to take action at any time. Okay, very good. This time I will shoot myself, Lan Shui. Just watch with the big man. I will kill him personally. Lan Yan's arms trembled, her body sank slightly, and her eyes were sharp. It seems to be looking for a flaw in Bruce. Lan Shui also showed curious eyes when he saw the posture of the two, and retreated to the unwilling mountain with the big blue sky, waiting for the battle to break out. Click! The rubble fell with the hurricane. At the moment before the stone fell to the ground, the huge breath in the sky shook. Lan Yan and Bruce shot at the same time, fist to fist, leg to leg. As soon as the two came up, they fought directly. As soon as the divine power came into contact, Lan Yan was shaken back and exclaimed, "No wonder you are so confident. You have already reached the level of the universe god. But this is not enough." Saying that, he gathered air waves in his hands and kept blasting towards Bruce. Boom! The violent roar shattered the entire gravel mountain. But Bruce's figure had already reached the sky, and he shouted, "I'm here, stupid." As soon as the voice fell, Lan Yan didn't even look up. She felt a strong impact from her chest. Then the whole person flew out. Boom! It stopped after smashing several peaks. Blue approached again and shouted angrily, "Ah!" Ha! A golden beam of light burst out from his hand, and instantly bombarded the position where Lan Yan landed. The entire majestic mountain disappeared in an instant, completely crushed. The Xiangshan in the god's domain is extremely hard, although it will be damaged in battle, but it wants to be completely smashed into powder. The divine power required exceeds 130 million. The battle between Blue and Lan Yan, just after a stick of incense, had already erupted with such a big movement. Phew! Blue took a deep breath. He didn't notice Lan Yan's existence in the time and space he mastered, so he turned to look at Lan Shui and said, "I said you can go together." Lan Shui in the distance was stunned for a moment, then regained his composure, and the corner of his mouth raised. "Let's deal with Lan Yan first." Well, Blue frowned and turned around quickly, but it was still too late, and just as he turned his head, he was shot down from the sky with a punch. The figure is like a streamer, rushing into the mountains on the ground. Lan Yan appeared in the sky in ragged clothes and sneered, "If you want to defeat me with such a bit of divine power, it's still a long way off." But before he was happy for too long, he found that there were countless air waves floating around. In the mountains below, Bruce turned his head and spat out a mouthful of blood, and said indifferently, "This is just the beginning." As soon as the voice fell, countless air waves began to gather around, constantly bombarding Lan Yan. The huge noise came and went, and it lasted for a stick of incense before it stopped. Pat! Lan Yan fell heavily from the sky, and Bruce sneered at the corner of his mouth, looking at Lan Shui. "Aren't you going to take action yet? He has the upper hand. If Lan Shui and the man don't help, Lan Yan will really fall." Blue Yan. Lan Shui frowned when she heard the words. She did not expect that Blue, who was easily defeated by her, had grown such a powerful divine power in such a short period of time. However, these divine powers alone are not enough to defeat Lan Yan. Just when Bruce looked at Lan Shui and the others, his back suddenly shook, and he felt a burst of aura that was gradually rising. Lan Yan actually stood up intact, and the divine power broke out again, exceeding 150 million. Compared to the god of the universe, it is 1.5 stars. Blue also turned his head to look at the other party in disbelief, secretly said in his heart, "What kind of monsters are they in the end?" After playing for so long, he still hasn't used his full strength. And it's just a blue one. Lan Shui hasn't even shot yet, and the man is not bad at all. At this moment he felt the pressure, but he still frowned and burst out with all his power. It also reached 150 million, 1.5 stars. Brazenly fought with Lan Yan. The sky and the earth shook, and the mountains in all directions collapsed. The selfless and fierce battle between the two has yet to be discovered. There is a terrifying being approaching, like a beast, peeping at them, ready to take action at any time. The star domain of the gods, the residence of the great realm king. On the island of Yuanqing, Jian Wushuang and others are waiting for Huiqing to train. The flow of time here is different from the outside world. 1 year on the island, 1 day outside. When Huiqing entered the wooden house, it was another flow rate, which could reach astonishing billions of times. And the time is extremely stable. The time and space of the Realm King continent is extremely stable, and under the universe God, there is no way to control the flow of time. Therefore, after Jian Wushuang and the others arrived at the Realm King continent, they could not control the flow of time at all, and to practice, they could only practice in the time house. What a fierce battle! Everyone sat in a group, waiting for Huiqing to practice while watching the battle between Blue and Lan Yan. This is the space-time ball left by the king of the world. Through the crystal ball, they can see the battle between Bruce and the metal life. This battle really surprised everyone. Also saw the difference, the gap between the universal God and the ordinary tribulation realm. Jian Wushuang is now the strongest fighting force and can't touch the edge of the universe God. Although the perfect beast weapon was refined, it could not be used, and he needed to reach the 9 tribulations realm before it could be used. Chapter 6183. Now it is impossible to participate in this level of battle with the super eternity alone. You must break through and become the 9 tribulations realm. It seems that Blue is not an opponent. Wu Li shook his head and said, in the battle of metal life, the divine power is almost indigestible, but Blue consumes too much. Wu's were retorted at this time. Don't forget, after the fusion of Bru and Danbao's fleshly bodies, God's body contains the power of life. He has never used it, and the divine power consumed can be replenished at one time. He is hiding his strength and wants to take advantage of the opportunity. One-hit kill. Jian Wushuang stared at him and didn't speak. He also understood the power of life. Don't see it. He could see that Bru had used all his strength. If he guessed correctly, he would have used the force of life. Whoa. He stood up suddenly, his pupils rounded. Not good. Through the crystal ball, he could feel a terrifying threat brewing. This threat came to him. But he's already eyeing Bruce. Brother Wushuang, don't scare me, is Zama's here? Wu Zetian also stood up and looked around vigilantly. It's serious. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw a terrifying aura rising from the crystal ball. The borders of the god's realm. The battle between Blue and Lan Yan has reached a fever pitch. At present, neither of the two sides can do anything to gain the other, and they stare at each other, waiting for the next chance to make a shot. But at this moment, Bruce stared at Lan Yan's back in horror, and said with a trembling voice, Are you Shilu? Click. Looking at Blue's gaze, on the short mountain behind Lan Yan, there is a monster with golden rays of light standing. His saws are like human hands, lightly grabbing the ground and pinching the entire mountain. Smash! Did you recognize me? Did Jian Wushuang tell you? From Bruce's body, he could feel the breath of the north dimension. After Lan Yan heard the movement, she turned her head quickly, and her pupils shrank even more when she saw Shilu. Natural fear comes from the heart. That kind of fear seems to be innate. Not only the blue face but also the blue water. When the man standing beside Lan Shui saw the monster that appeared, his pupils also shrank suddenly, and he clenched his fists. This was the first time that he was serious. He didn't put him in the previous battle between Blue and Lan Yan. Eyes. Lan Yan and Lan Shui didn't know much about his strength. They just felt that he didn't speak much. In fact, among the 3 metal beings, he is still the strongest. The visitor is not good, and you will leave with Lan Yan later. Ah, Lan Shui said in surprise. How can you speak? This was the first time she heard the big man speak. The man, codenamed Lan Tian, also came from the northern time and space. He came to you. Lan Tian's voice was low. Lan Shui was very calm about this, and said disdainfully, So what? His divine power is only 1.5 stars, so it's not a big threat. No, that's just the surface. Indeed, as Lan Tian said, the aura that Shilu just broke out is just a conventional combat power. Seeing Shilu appear, Bruce thought of what the real king had said to him back then. Beware serious. Be careful that Shilu absorbs blue face and blue water. Once these two metal beings are absorbed, it's over. Even if Jian Wushuang and the others can break through themselves in the Great Realm King, or even reach the God of the universe, they will not be Xylus opponents. The best solution now is to kill Lan Yin and Lan Shui, so that Shilu cannot become a complete body. Or kill the current Siru directly. Unfortunately, Bruce couldn't do it. Not to mention killing Shilu. Even killing Lan Yin would be difficult for him. At this time, Shun Lan Yin was relieved from the panic, and he frowned. Is this guy also with Jian Wushuang? You don't know. This time it was Bruce's turn to be surprised. Unexpectedly, Lan Yin didn't know Shilu. In this way he suddenly understood. The metal life was created by absorbing the life of Wanlu. Shilu was created from the power of blood, which are two kinds of creatures. Although it was created by one person, it is normal for the two to not know each other. In this way he has a way. Should I know this ugly guy? Lan Yin asked back, thinking that Blue's question was strange. Lan Yin, let's cooperate. Bruce opened his heart and directly revealed Xylus' identity. I came here to absorb him and Lan Shui. It is better to cooperate. Kill Shilu first, and then they will fight. When Lan Yin heard the words, she couldn't help but sneer. Why don't you two go together? I want to see how his strength is. Although he felt that Shilu was terrifying in his heart, the divine aura he gave him was not so powerful. And it was not necessarily his opponent. Madness! Blue cursed inwardly, feeling that Lan Yin was too arrogant and couldn't see Xylus' true strength at all. It's not a single fight at all. It can be won. TSK. It's interesting. It's better for you to help me defeat these two metal beings, and I can spare your life. Siru turned his head and glanced at Bruce. He's really not joking, but he really has this plan, because the blue sky is a threat to him, and the blue face and blue water are not worth mentioning. After hearing this, Bru just sneered, clenched his fists, and suddenly turned around to gather air waves with one hand, sending out a powerful air wave in the direction of the blue sky and blue water. The quaking world was shaking. In the face of the sudden attack, Lan Shui was also a little stunned. Fortunately, Lan Tian stood up and took the air wave with one hand, and his figure moved slightly, then began to walk in the direction of Shilu. As he walked he said, Lan Yin, run away with Lan Shui. Escape. Lan Yin smiled disdainfully. You made a mistake. It's them who should escape. 3 against 2. The advantage is still ours. Bru is helping you. Lan Tian corrected a sentence. Silu is stronger than you. Even if it is me, it is difficult to take him down. You better hide away. When Blue heard the words, he was the first to retreat. His attack just now was to force Lan Tian and Lan Shui to attack Shilu together. Shilu wasn't stupid either. He raised his arm and pointed it out. The light beam erupted from his fingertips and instantly pierced Bruce's chest. Puff! With just one blow, Bruce was seriously injured. Lan Yin felt that something was wrong at this time, but she still bit the bullet and stayed. Looking at the persuasion, Lan Tian didn't say more, but walked to Shilu alone. Big man, you can't do it, let me do it. Lan Yin was about to stop her, but she was stunned the next moment. I saw Lan Tian flying, and in an instant, he arrived in front of Shilu, and he shot Shilu out with a single punch. Blue Sky's figure flashed, and he shot again, grabbing Xylus' 2 wings, and tearing it apart fiercely. A huge hole opened instantly. Ah! Chapter 6184. Lan Tian shouted angrily and multicolored rays of light burst out from his mouth, and a powerful divine power rose into the sky. At this moment, the divine power of Lan Tian surpassed 2 stars. That is 200 million divine power. The powerful impact force was poured into Xylus' body, constantly expanding Shilu, and after it swelled to an amazing appearance, it completely burst open, shredded all over the place. Lan Tian was also panting heavily, turned his head to glance at Lan Yin and said, Let's go with Lan Shui and kill Jian Wushuang. This is your mission, don't worry about me. Don't worry, this monster is seriously injured anyway, and it's not a threat to me now. Although he was shocked just now, he was still a little arrogant, and felt that Shilu had been seriously injured, and there was no threat to him. At the same time, He turned his head and glanced at Bruce and said, "Are you still accumulating power? Don't worry. When I kill this monster, it will be your turn soon." Ignorance. Blue's single arm continued to gather divine power, and his arm had gathered 180 million divine power. But this is not for the opponent's metal life, but to completely kill Siru. Compared with Shilu, these metal beings are much cuter. I would rather die in the hands of metal life than let Shilu live. He will do his best to give Shilu a ruthless one. It's better to kill him with one hit and knock him out completely. Wow! The smashed Shilu gathered and formed again, but the power has dropped a lot. You actually can hurt me. Shilu revealed an unbelievable expression. After he came to the Realm King continent, he absorbed an unknown number of practitioners, and even absorbed a cosmic god. Then start looking around for metal life. He knew that the goal of metal life was Jian Wushuang, so he stayed in the star field of the gods, waiting for the opportunity. He is very clear about the power of Lanyan Lanshui, but I didn't expect this big man to be so powerful. Shilu, I am your Terminator, Blue Sky. What? The divine power of the blue sky broke out again, and the fist suddenly rushed out like a lion, penetrating the entire mountain range. Lan Yin and Lan Shui were stunned by this scene. Even Bruce was surprised. The condensed divine power also slowed down. The current situation does not seem to require him. Boom! Sirius, whose divine body was shattered again, crawled out of the rocks with difficulty. After wiping the blood on the corner of his mouth, he moved his broken arm, and with a roar, he instantly regained his peak body. Divine power did not drop too much. Big black man, I don't have any information about you. It seems that you are a poor product. Lantian replied coldly. My goal is different from yours. You are to kill Jian Wushuang, and I am to end the monsters that should not belong to this world. Oh! Shilu heard the words and sneered. So you were refined to kill me? You can think so. Blue Sky clenched his fists, ready to shoot again. But this time, Shilu didn't give him a chance, and he rushed towards Lanyan in a flash. Not good. Xyla's speed is very fast, it has surpassed the Blue Sky, and he can't stop it at all. This waste. Bru gritted his teeth, thinking that he didn't need to take action himself, but he didn't expect Xyla's speed to suddenly explode, and it was already unstoppable. In the end, he had to do it. Saruru, he roared angrily, shook his arm, and a beam of light burst into the sky, straight to Shilu. The divine power contained in it has reached the two-star universe god. Even if you can't kill Siru, there is no problem with being seriously injured. You. Shilu was shocked, but when the beam was about to fall on him, he grinned. Be cheated. Blue and Blue Sky are both fooled. The beam penetrated Shilu, but Lan Yin was still absorbed, because the Shilu just now is just a clone. As early as when he was fighting against the Blue Sky, Shilu was planning. Use the broken body to reshape a clone, just to attract Blue's attack. Shilu is not a fool. He has already noticed the situation on Blue's side. There is also Lan Tian, who is also a difficult opponent. If you don't use Ji Liang, it will be difficult to succeed. Haha, you can't stop me. He laughed wildly, and Lan Yin was also struggling, and was sucked into her body. A powerful breath began to spread. It shook the surrounding gravel. It's over. Bruce's face was ashen. Originally, I thought that this time, I was sure of everything, but I didn't expect that the metal life would be so strong. And then Shilu showed up. Fortunately, the Blue Sky could block it. Helpless Lanyan Lanshui, these two idiots did not want to escape, so they had to watch. It's good now. The blue color is absorbed. Xyla's strength skyrocketed. They go together, and there may be no hope of surviving. I'm sorry I let you down. Blue slumped on the ground. His divine power had already been exhausted. Blue Sky stood on the other side, unable to see his expression. But it's almost to the point of despair. He turned his head and shouted at Lan Shui. Flee quickly, flee to the depths of the God's Star territory. But what do you do? Lan Shui was still worried about the Blue Sky at this time. This warmed Lanchan's heart, and then said solemnly, My destiny is here, and I will not leave. Take care. After Lan Shui finished speaking, flew towards the God's Star territory desperately. The changes on Xyla's side continued. Not only the divine power has undergone earth-shaking changes, but also the appearance. It used to be skinny, but now it has become more burly. What? Shilu roared, and the complete evolution was completed. Divine power has also reached 270 million. It has increased by almost 100 million divine power. If it is the universe god, it is necessary to add a star to the chest. The current Shilu is barely regarded as the Samsung universe god. This kind of combat power has no problem sweeping some ordinary star fields. Want to escape? The evolved Shilu took a step lightly, and the stewardess shattered instantly, just as he was about to set off to chase. Blue Sky stood up again. Shilu, you can't leave. Oh. Sirius sneered. Are you very loud? The island of the great realm king, Jian Wushuang, and the others couldn't help but take a deep breath when they saw this scene. Too strong. Wuxia shook his head and said, I feel that I will never be able to reach that level in my life. The enemy I encountered this time, I am still unable to fight. After speaking, he couldn't help but sigh. Before returning to the Qi temple, he felt that he was the protagonist. And then the power of destruction made him realize the reality. I don't think I'm the protagonist, but at least a supporting role. It even became the 9 Tribulations realm early. Unexpectedly this time, the ability to watch the game may be gone. Quasi-Samsung Universe God. Not only Wuxia, but also Wu Li and King Shenmu. They are all insurmountable days. Only Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing were left. Don't be discouraged, it's not as good as them now. It doesn't mean it won't work in the future. Jian Wushuang comforted everyone. Chapter 6185. In fact, he didn't have much confidence in his heart. He is only in the 8 Tribulations realm now. The gap is too big. If he wants to have the combat power of the universe level, it is difficult for him to achieve it in the 8 Tribulations realm, let alone the Samsung universe god. At present, what he can still improve in the 8 Tribulations realm is the source, and raising the source of the universe to the level of transcending tribulation will almost triple. That is 3 miniature time and space rivers. The increase in the strength of the source, his starry sky catalog, and the 5th sword may be able to kill the weaker universe god. But that's simply not enough. Only to become the 9 Tribulations realm. At the 9 Tribulations realm, first of all, his basic divine power can skyrocket again. You can also go to the secret realm of the starry sky and get some treasures. 9 Tribulations realm. The most exaggerated increase in basic divine power, at least 80 million, even 90 million. At that time, with the super eternity change and the increase in the dojo, it will be able to break the wrist a little. Beast soldier. Extremely free. He didn't know how much the 2 increased. Not to mention, in short, only when he reaches the 9 Tribulations realm can he hope to do this. I don't know whether the way the Great Realm King improves them will help me. Jian Wushuang has some plans. It is best to let him directly cross the robbery and become the 9 Tribulations realm. Time passed by minute. In the crystal ball, Shilu is ravaging the blue sky. No way, the difference is too big. Hui Qing, hurry up. Once the blue sky can't stop it, Blue is in danger. Looks like I have to go. He couldn't watch where Blue was left to die. Since the metal life is now too busy to take care of itself, there is no need to let Blue be blocked. Brother Wushuang, are you going at this time? Wu Li exited and blocked. Going at this time is tantamount to dying. Don't forget, Xyla's goal is you. Indeed, whether it is Shilu or metal life, it is for Jian Wushuang. Going at this time, isn't it to die? I have Huan Kong, so I can take Bruce with me. Jian Wushuang comforted him. Seeing that they had to stop him, he looked at Wu Li and said, "You know what I promised back then." Wu Li was stunned for a moment when he heard the words, and then stopped stopping. Originally in the Dragon God continent, Jian Wushuang had promised the Great Elder that he would protect Blue and Dan Bao. Later, Dan Bao became a god, and he felt that he no longer needed him. But this time, because of the appearance of metal life, not only did Dan Bao give up the fleshly body of God, but Blue also fell into a life crisis. He was really sorry in his heart. If he leaves it alone this time, he will not be able to survive the calamity. Mood affects him. Go anyway. When everyone saw this, they no longer persuaded them. Don't worry, you'll be back soon. After speaking, he took out the divine artifact, Huan Kong, tore open a space-time hole, and the whole person disappeared in place. This place is not too far from the boundary of the god's star field. A few breaths, and you will be able to reach it. The blue sky still has a breath, and it can be dragged for a while. But fighting is impossible. In the current blue sky, the divine body has been crippled, leaked mechanical bones. Power-driven, it has been damaged and has no combat power. But with his powerful body, he was still dragging Shilu. Damn bastard, do you think this will stop me? Sirius smiled disdainfully. A punch hit the blue sky in the head. The powerful divine power directly knocked off half of Lanshan's head. Go away. Despite this, he still couldn't get rid of the blue sky, and Shilu was also angry. At this time, the blue water has escaped far away. Although he can always sense the location of blue water, he is also worried about what happens. Get ready to understand the blue sky thoroughly. Just as he was about to start, a burst of light struck instantly. Shilu raised his hand and blocked it. The power of this beam is very weak, and it has not even reached the battle power of the universe god. For the current Shilu, it is not a threat at all. I just feel very uncomfortable after being attacked. TSK, don't worry, it will be yours soon. Shilu sneered, and was ready to attack the last killer under the blue sky again. Blue has collapsed from exhaustion, hopeless. No one can anymore. The surrounding time and space shattered instantly. A figure also appeared in the sky above. Sirius, who was about to attack, also stopped. After seeing Jian Wushuang, I was a little surprised, but when I checked, I found that Jian Wushuang's divine power was not as good as that of the universe god, and smiled lightly. Another one to die. Jian Wushuang ignored Shilu, and came to Bruce's side. After picking up the unconscious Blue with one hand, he turned to look at Shilu. Shilu, if you have the ability, just wait for an hour, and someone will come to clean you up. Gui Qing is about to come out, and he may be able to fight Shilu at that time. Someone is coming, Shilu said in surprise. Do you still have helpers? Aren't you going to die by yourself? Don't worry, dare I give me a few days. Jian Wushuang stood in the wind, his hair fluttering. He is not bragging about himself. Given a few days, he has the hope of fighting Shilu. Haha. After Shilu heard it, he sneered. How many days? You can become the god of the universe in a few days. This is like talking in a dream, Shilu, who said, laughed out loud. To deal with you, you don't need a universe god. His deliberate provocation made Shilu frown. It wasn't because of his provocative words that made him feel uncomfortable. At this level, he should pay attention to this. But some are curious that Jian Wushuang does not have the combat power of the universe now, so he dares to have a relaxed conversation with him here. Aren't you afraid that he will take action at this time? No one can stop him here. Thinking of this, he frowned, thinking of something. Late, Jian Wushuang sneered, ripped apart the time and space, pulled Bruce and disappeared in place. Originally, he planned to leave after finding Bruce. But after arriving, he received a voice transmission from Lantian. Hopefully he can hold Blue for some time. He would talk so much to Sirius. With his character, when his strength is not enough, he will not talk big, nor will he take risks to stay. All because of the blue sky. There is a destructive substance in his body. Once detonated, it can destroy a star field. This is his trump card, but it will take some time to open. Just now, Jian Wushuang was just trying to delay time for the other party. Now that Shilu notices, he can leave naturally, and the rest is left to fate. Even if it doesn't kill Shilu, it can still seriously injure Shilu. Swish! After returning to the island of the Great Realm King, he breathed a sigh of relief, fearing that the blue sky would not be able to stop Shilu. Back here, there is a sense of security. Then quickly looked at the crystal ball. How is it? Is Shilu dead? Wooly blinked and hesitated. It seems it's not dead. Through the crystal ball, they could see that a dark ray of light was constantly flashing, and the figure of Siru was in it. Chapter 6186. Really can't see life and death. The huge movement quickly spread to this place. Even if there is a ban, I still hear a dull thunder. Horrible. Everyone took a deep breath. Even Jian Wushuang was sweating on his back, but fortunately he ran fast. Otherwise, if you get a trace of it, you will fall. Just as they were watching the crystal ball, the door of the wooden house was opened. Hui Qing's eyes were resolute and walked out indifferently. Seeing Hui Qing coming out, Jian Wushuang turned his head to look, and said in surprise, "So fast. I thought it would take some time, but I didn't expect Hui Qing to come out. Just at this time, you can go to Shilu to make up for the knife. It's just a fluke." Hui Qing's personality and aura have changed a lot now. It used to be mild, now it's cold. An undisturbed look. "How's your strength?" Wuxia hurried over to find out how much combat power he had increased. Hui Qing replied calmly, "I have survived the calamity." Everyone was stunned. Overcame the calamity? That's not bad. After passing through the divine calamity, he is the god of the universe. The current Hui Qing is the of the universe? Jian Wushuang was also stunned, but he quickly figured out that Hui Qing had already reached the 9 tribulations realm, and his divine power was comparable to that of the god of the universe. Now, after the guidance and improvement of the great realm king, it seems that it is not difficult to cross the gods. That being said, only Hui Qing knows how difficult it is. Even the character and temperament have changed. I am afraid I have experienced a lot. Tell me the location of the metal life. Now it's time to deal with them. It's unnecessary. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, "Hui Qing, the current situation has changed, and Shilu has appeared." In just one day, they experienced 3 waves of enemies. First, Gallows gang of metal beings. Then there is the blue-color blue water. Finally, there is Sirius. Stronger each time. Their strength is constantly surpassing. First, the fleshly bodies of Bru and Dambao were fused and elevated to the level of the universe god. Then Hui Qing crossed the divine calamity, and the current breath gave them the feeling that they were no weaker than Shilu. Another qualitative change. When there is no opponent, they retreat in the northern time and space for tens of millions of epochs, and their strength growth is limited. But now the time in the outside world has increased several times. It's nice to have an opponent. Although the pressure is high, the effect is also obvious. This increase in strength, I am afraid that the temples of the gods cannot match. And in the temple of gods, the biggest imaginary head is becoming a god. In the blink of an eye, Hui Qing did it. And the extremely powerful cosmic god, just don't know how many stars. Shilu. Hui Qing's eyes moved, and he clenched his fists. Last time, he escaped from me. This time I won't give him another chance. When he was in the northern time and space, Hui Qing really let the other party run away. This time, it can be said that the enemies met, and they were particularly jealous. Still be careful. Shilu now has a quasi-3-star cosmic combat power. Jian Wushuang was a little worried. He had seen Shilu before, and the breath was extremely terrifying. Come and see, Shilu has appeared. Yep. Hui Qing's eyes also followed. In the crystal ball, Xyla's figure appeared. The blue sky has completely returned to the sky, and Shilu is still intact. There was also a green light on him. That is the force of life. He is constantly recovering his divine body. He actually mastered the power of life, and he was so strong and recovered so quickly. Normal, don't forget to come up with this thing. But who is the metal life in Wanlu Shinmu? Wu Li nodded slightly. Yes. Hui Qing, hurry up, don't give him a chance to breathe. The blue water has not been absorbed yet. Once Shilu becomes a complete body, it will be a real disaster. Now Shilu is so strong just by absorbing Lanyan. When it becomes a complete body, how powerful will it be? Hard to imagine. It must be removed as soon as possible. Complete body? Hui Qing revealed a trace of disdain, and said indifferently, I would like to see how strong he will be when he is completely body. After he finished speaking, he ripped apart time and space, and disappeared in place in an instant. After Hui Qing left, Wuxia was surprised. Hui Qing has changed a lot. Normal. There is a lot of difference between the God of the universe and the Lord of the universe. After becoming a God of the universe, the character will inevitably change. But this kind of change is too strong. Wu Li couldn't help but be surprised. Although he didn't meet Huiqing much, he could see how much Huiqing had changed. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Who will go in next? Jian Wushuang changed the subject, and now it is still the most important thing to improve his strength. Even if Huiqing succeeded in beheading Shilu, they would have to practice. Don't waste this great opportunity. You should go first. I don't have much confidence. I'm too far away from the god of the universe. Wu Zhua sighed. Wu Li and Shenmu Wang are the same. They have already reached their limit. Even with the help of the Great Realm King, they can increase their divine power by 10 to 20 million at most, reaching a state comparable to that of the god of the universe. If you want to break through to become the god of the universe, it is by no means a simple opportunity that can be achieved. Jian Wushuang heard the words and smiled lightly. Then I'll go first. Anyway, it is only one day for the outside world can also wait. Go. I hope you can become the god of the universe in one fell swoop. Lend your auspicious words. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly. It would be great if he could become the god of the universe. This time it is enough to be able to become the 9 tribulations realm. Step into the cabin. The surroundings suddenly turned around. After a moment, a white world appeared in front of him. Coming. Well, Jian Wushuang looked up and saw the figure of the Great Realm King, standing in the air. Senior Great Realm King. The Great Realm King put his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "You don't need to be too polite. Everything you need to enter this place depends on you. All I can help you is the guidance on the realm and the supply of treasures. I observe that your origin is extremely special, and it may be possible for guidance you can't do it. Just tell me what treasures you need." The origin of the starry sky, Jian Wushuang said exuberantly. The more the better. His level is indeed very high. He even reached the level of a cosmic god, and he was still an extremely powerful cosmic god. As long as there is enough source of starry sky, he can even reach the 9 tribulations realm consummation. He still has this confidence, because he is afraid that the source of the starry sky of the other party is not enough. What can you eat? The Great Realm King was stunned for a moment, but he didn't expect Jian Wushuang's appetite to be so great. Jian Wushuang simply did not hide it. Spread out your own origin universe directly. 9 extreme universes appear, connecting a line. The ultimate power radiates from it. The source universe in it is even more shrunken with blue light. This is the star universe. The most powerful universe, once the connection becomes a line, is the starry sky. Light up the entire starry sky, and there will be a second starry sky in this world. This is the current situation of Jian Wushuang. Chapter 6187. On this path he knew what it meant. I remember what Weiss said back then. Senior Great Realm King, the so-called god of the universe. You should know that it is only a universe that has come to an end, and the road I want to take is the road to the stars. The god of the universe is extremely large and can expand infinitely, but such a universe is disordered. Jian Wushuang would not go that way. What he wants to take is the starry sky perfect route. To say it is unprecedented is an exaggeration. After all, there is still a perfect starry sky today. The Great Realm King sucked in a breath of cold air and exclaimed, "Of course I know that the cosmic god is going to expand disorderly. If my guess is correct, you should be going to the starry sky." That's right, the younger generation thinks that the universe is not as perfect as it is. It is better to open up the starry sky and carry more. At the end of the universe, Jian Wushuang had already experienced it. Ever since he mastered the extreme way and entered the starry sky, he has had his own path. Open up a magnificent starry sky. That's the goal. Let the land of promise, or the land of disorder, give birth to the second starry sky. At present, it is not known whether there is a second starry sky in the land of disorder. He can't guarantee that it will be the second one, but what is certain is that he will be the next star pioneer. Jian Wushuang, have you ever thought about how difficult this road is? The Great Realm King couldn't bear to say. The disordered universe may have its drawbacks, but the power will also increase very quickly, or go all the way to space and time and become a new one. Realm kings and even realm kings are possible. With your talent, you are not weaker than the real Jai Wangshan. You have every hope of creating your own realm king continent in the starry sky. Jian Wushuang's heart moved, but he didn't expect that there was such a hidden feeling behind Jiwang continent. After seeing his surprise, the great realm king continued. In the beginning, there was no long river of time and space around the starry sky. It was not until later that there were 4 time and space gods, that is, the realm king gods, that the long river of time and space surrounded the starry sky. Later the great realm appeared. The king appeared and opened up the realm of kings, and they are not walking the ultimate path of the universe. Brand new road. From the ultimate expansion of the universe to the emergence of the long river of time and space is a qualitative change. Now Jian Wushuang is going from time and space to starry sky. Also a qualitative change. The appearance of the great realm king made a space-time, such as the realm king god, appear behind him. That's why Zamasu is so arrogant. Jian Wushuang, if you want to take this road, I don't advise you, because you are a predecessor. Even if you fail, you are worthy of your talent. This sentence can be regarded as an incentive for Jian Wushuang. Even if he fails in the future, he has paved the way for future generations. That's the beauty of opening the way. Jian Wushuang nodded heavily. I don't regret it. In one word, you set your own path. The great realm king no longer said anything, and immediately flicked his finger, and a blue space appeared. This is the way to the source of the starry sky. There is the power of the starry sky that you need, as much as you want, but you need to have enough strength. I can't help with this. Enough is enough. Jian Wushuang bowed slightly, and gave him a way to obtain the source of the starry sky, which was already very good. After speaking, he stepped into the source of the starry sky. Whoa! His entire body seemed to have entered another dimension. The surrounding space is more stable, and the gravity is many times stronger than that of the realm king continent. The source of the starry sky, could it be that this is the source of the starry sky? Jian Wushuang was a little surprised. If it is the source of the starry sky, then it is true that as many starry sky sources are needed, there are as many starry sky sources. Not to mention that the 8 tribulations realm is complete. It is no problem to transcend the divine tribulation. The Tower of 9 Tribulations? After entering this source of starry sky, he actually saw the 9 tribulations pagoda again, just like the one I got. But it was taken away by Weiss. Didn't expect to be able to see it. Jian Wushuang's heart moved, and he thought to himself, will you still be able to see Weiss? When he saw the Tower of 9 Tribulations, he knew what he needed to do. If you want to get the source of the starry sky, you need to pass this 9 tribulations pagoda. When he was still a monarch, he barely passed the first floor. Going in again this time. I don't know if I can cross the 9th floor. Shoo. With one step, he directly entered the 9 tribulations pagoda. This place is different from when he came in. There are carvings all around. It seems that it should be the starry sky, because he has never seen such a colorful dress. It should be from the starry sky civilization. Whoa. Just after entering, a masked man appeared on the first floor. It's just not the same as Weiss, who was wearing a mask at the beginning. After all, Weiss is a Protoss, and will not be stationed in this 9 tribulations pagoda. It was because of the Wanlu Shinmu that Weiss appeared in the northern time and space. Jian Wushuang no longer hesitated, clasped his hands together, and shouted angrily, Ha! Divine power suddenly erupted. The first floor was passed with just a dazzling effort. Then there is the second layer. Until the 8th floor, he felt the pressure. The opponent on the 8th floor is still the same, just the power is different. The divine power used is the power of the starry sky, and the divine power is not so exaggerated. On the 8th floor, it is only 30 million in divine power, which is considered to be the limit of the 8 tribulations realm. However, the masked man used the ultimate freedom technique, which gave Jian Wushuang a headache. Obviously, the divine power is much worse than his. One can imagine it's hard to beat the opponent. He was also constantly trying, and slowly realized the beauty of Zizai Ji Gong. After comprehending for so long, I finally reached the entry stage. Gradually, he also began to enter into his own self-confidence. The movement method is so wonderful that he even suppressed his divine power in order to practice. Align divine power with masked man. It took him 10 years to fight on the 8th floor alone. His Zai Ji Gong has completely reached the entry level. Just getting started, Jian Wushuang can use 30 million divine powers to fight against 50 million divine powers and still not fall behind. If it is a peak match, his 90 million divine power can completely match the universe god. Although there is no substantial increase in divine power, it has increased combat power. This is more terrifying than the increase of divine power, because the opponent can't figure out your bottom line. The ultimate mind power is divided into beginning, Theravada, Mahayana, peak, consummation, and freedom. This is just getting started, and you can improve your combat power by so much. The back is simply unimaginable. The 9th floor. Swish. He is currently only in the 8 tribulations realm, and he still doesn't know if he can enter the 9th floor. After sending, the surrounding scene did not change. It actually works. This is the same as the previous transmission. After the first 8 floors, he did not obtain any starry sky source. It seems that this is to pass through the entire 9 tribulations pagoda to obtain the source of the starry sky. After reaching the 9th floor, his opponent is a masked man with the power of a cosmic god. Jian Wushuang also happened to lack a sparring partner. With his eyesight, it can be seen that the masked man on the 9th floor has only 80 million divine powers. Chapter 6188. But it can explode with 130 million divine power. It's not as simple as getting started, absolutely to the realm of Theravada. Otherwise, it won't improve that much. Jian Wushuang's current peak state of divine power is only 90 million. Coupled with the improved combat power of Zai Ji Gong, it was barely 102 million. But he also has a star catalog, the kendo blessed by the source. It is not weak at all, and it is also possible to fight beyond the ranks. Sword intent, which surpassed the current strength, rose up. The 5th sword, time and space reincarnation. Clang. Despite this, he still stayed on the 9th floor for over 1,000 years before coming out. Past thousands of years of battle have greatly improved his free will power, and also made the Starry Sky catalog reach the pinnacle state on the 5th floor. When he reaches the 9 tribulations realm, he may be able to use the 6th sword. Immortal can also be the enemy, or even the gods can kill. That sword is the essence of the Starry Sky catalog. Among them were 4 swords that he had not grasped. The 6th sword was only slightly displayed when it merged with Hui Qing. It is not known yet which path needs to be raised. Time and space reincarnation contains 4 paths. Life, death, time, space. Integration is the reincarnation of time and space. The 5th sword, formed by the blessing of the 4 major sources of kendo, has such terrifying combat power. In fact, it is the 5 origins. And kendo, only kendo also belongs to time and space. It's a protruding trail. Can't compare to the road. Jian Wushuang was stunned to elevate kendo to a level that did not belong to it. The origin of life. Needless to say, every life contains it. This is the great way. So is death. Time and space carry all life. These 4 paths, no matter which one is cultivated, can all become a cosmic god. Taking space as an example, in the time of the emperor, the origin of space was cultivated to perfection, and the calamity was condensed into the cosmic space. To the extreme is the god of the universe. The space is disordered and infinitely expanded. The original Daanhuan was probably left by a cosmic god, and the disorderly expansion has penetrated into the northern time and space. Otherwise, he really couldn't come up with a universe that was comparable to Daanhuan. In that universe, it gave birth to all worlds. Unfortunately, can't find it. I don't know if it was the extinction and hiding at the beginning, or whether it took the initiative to escape. If there is a chance in the future, he will still look for it. Beyond time and space is a place of infinite disorder. If Daanhuan expands somewhere, it will be an independent universe, not in the stars. Call. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang couldn't help taking a deep breath. I don't know how teacher Xuani found that universe. As far as he knew, only Xiani could enter at will. And the old man. This mystery troubled him for a long time, so that he took a trip in the northern time and space, and looked at the world before and after the time and space. I was relieved. Maybe it's time asymmetry. This leaves these unsolved mysteries. After passing the 9 tribulations pagoda, he was teleported to the source of the starry sky again. But this time, in front of him, a taller tower appeared. The tower is divided into 5 layers: universe, time and space, starry sky, disorder. But on the 5th floor, there is no tower card. No name is marked. But on the first 4 floors, Jian Wushuang was also stunned. Universe he has. Time and space are still a long way off. The sky is even more exaggerated. As for disorder, it represents the disordered and infinite place in the outside world. Even more outrageous. But now there is a 5th floor. The doubts in my heart immediately came up. When Weiss could take out the Tower of 9 Tribulations, he didn't say that there was still this tower on it. Just when he was confused, a town boundary stone tablet fell. Boom. Hit the ground hard. There are also rows of names written at the top. Lord of the Stars. 12 star spirits. Great King. There is no name behind the Lord of the Stars, or Jian Wushuang cannot see it. Behind the Star Spirit, there are 12 names. Among them is Weiss. Behind the Great Realm King, there are 17 names. He is the king of the great realm of all dynasties. The first realm ye one-word fame. This should be who the Great Realm King said. The ruthless man who opened up time and space in history. Being able to be the first to open up time and space is already very powerful. The 4 current time and space, as well as the continent of the Realm King, were opened up by this Almighty One. There is also the World King God behind and more. Since the Realm King continent was opened up, dozens of realm gods have been born. There are more great realm kings and ordinary realm kings. Only the Protoss above are eternal signs of existence. The first star spirit, big star officer. This person is more than one person, and more than 10,000 people. I don't know how much better than Visby. There are also star spirit messengers. These are not on the list, but the strength is definitely there. At least stronger than the World King God. It's just that those are all practitioners, not true gods. After reading the names on the stele, I realized in hindsight, why did he let him look at this stele? Could it be that the people above have roamed this tower? Jian Wushuang has some doubts in his heart. He is here for the origin of the starry sky. Just passed through the 9 tribulations pagoda. The 9 tribulations have passed, and I have obtained the ultimate origin of the universe. It contains the power of the stars. In his source, starry sky also has an extra universe. However, there is still a long way to go before the calamity. It is also necessary to constantly roam the Tower of 9 Tribulations. As for the tower, he couldn't even find the door. Shouting every day does not work, shouting ground does not listen. There is no other way but to return to the 9 Tribulations pagoda. Continue to get enough star source. Meanwhile, the battle on the outside has just begun. Because after he entered the time house, the Great Realm King couldn't instruct him, so he could only let a 3rd person in. The 3rd person who came in was Blue. Just after recovering the divine body, he went on to practice. Want to increase strength. The incarnation of the who just merged with Dan Bao. But he persisted for less than a day, and felt ashamed in his heart. Inadvertently facing Dan Bao. I just want to improve my divine power to solve Shilu and metal life. In the outside world, Hui Qing was the only one at this time. At this time, he was rushing towards Shilu. Lan Tian died in battle, and Lan Yin was absorbed. Blue water disappeared. Shilu is rushing towards the depths of the god's star field, looking for the whereabouts of blue water. Although the star field of the gods has declined, the background is still there. Shilu also did not dare to destroy and search for blue water, because there are still those ancient world kings sleeping in this place. The star domain of the gods, the land where the 7th generation king fell. Above a sea, the small islands below can be clearly seen. A cold figure appeared above the sea at this time. It was Lan Shui who was chased by Shilu. Yep. Lan Shu's figure moved, and his brows furrowed. Why is there a ban here? The road ahead has been blocked. She didn't pass at all. If you take a detour now, you will definitely be overtaken by Shilu. Just as she hesitated, a terrifying aura was rushing in her direction. Chapter 6189. Blue water can't manage so much, and can only go to the small island below to escape. Metal life has no breath. Only Shilu can sense it. The breath just now came from the front, not Shilu. In the God Star territory, no matter who you meet, as long as you are stronger than yourself, you still have to hide first. As soon as the blue water fell into the bushes on the ground, he found a burst of golden aura coming from the sky. This guy, don't you know there are restrictions here? Lan Shui looked up and was shocked. In the golden aura, a figure in black directly smashed through the barrier, causing the sea below to rise. It's him. Lan Shui was shocked when he saw the figure in the golden aura. It was Hui Qing who had been beaten by him earlier. Now it is so strong. Divine power is at least 300 million, even more terrifying than Sirius breath. Fortunately, the other party couldn't lock her. Otherwise it would be over. Just when she was worried, a terrifying green aura also shot up from the sky behind. Sirius. When Lan Shui saw it, he was overjoyed. When Hui Qing meets Shilu, there will also be a fight. Then she would take the opportunity to escape. At the end of the day, she was surprised too much. First, Bruce suddenly doubled his divine power, and was able to tie Lan Yan. Then Shilu appeared, absorbed Lan Yan and killed Lan Tian. Now, seeing that Hui Qing's divine power has suddenly multiplied several times, his heart is relieved. I have been able to accept these monsters, and improving my strength is as simple as drinking water. Boom. At this time in the sky, the two superpowers met. Shilu knew Hui Qing, and Hui Qing also knew Shilu. Speaking of these two, it is also an old grudge. Back in the northern time and space, Hui Qing almost killed Shilu. This time, he will never let the other party escape. He wants to be ashamed. Shilu wanted to take revenge for being beaten back then. Haven't seen you for a long time. It's been a while. The conversation between the two was like a friend. The pair stood in the sky, staring at each other. It seems that you have absorbed all the metal life, and your strength has been able to increase so much. Hui Qing's thoughts moved, and he realized that Xyla's strength was not weak. Just like what Blue said, it is already a quasi-3-star universe god. Xyla's eyes moved and replied, "It's still a little bit, but it's enough to clean up you now. Then let's do it." Hui Qing spread out his hands, his breath was shocked, and he waited for Xyla's shot. Swish! Shilu didn't have time to catch up with Hui Qing at this time, so he had to find Lan Shui quickly. The breath of the lock is nearby. He was afraid that Hui Qing would kill Lan Shui, so that he would not be able to become a complete body. We must kill Hui Qing before finding blue water. At that time, go and kill Jian Wushuang again. He is really free, and those guys in Nanshikong can't control him. Boom. Bravely shot. Direct use of all strength. 275 million divine power. A punch hit Hui Qing in the face. Yep. With this punch he was stunned. Hui Qing had nothing to do with it. Still staring at him sneeringly. Is that enough power? Hui Qing said disdainfully. You are so disappointed in me, Shilu. After speaking, the figure turned around and kicked Shilu into the sea below. He followed the trend, and the moment Shilu fell, it was another knee kick. Xyla's divine body instantly burst. There was also a green liquid flowing from the corners of his mouth. With a series of shots, Hui Qing almost crushed Shilu, and the opponent had no room to fight back. Show your strength. Zururu. The dissatisfaction of being ravaged by the metal life all vented to Shilu. Hui Qing became stronger and stronger in battle, and at this time he was already in the state of Samsung Universe God. With his hands together, a huge group of light and shadow appeared on the bottom of the sea. Xyla's face sank. This blow may kill him. Impossible. Hum. A green protective cover appeared around Shilu. How can you be so strong? This is impossible. According to the previous information, you are not the god of the universe. Half of Xyla's body was cracked. Now I can only maintain the protective cover, hoping to withstand Hui Qing's blow. Hee hee, this is my strength. Even if you don't believe it, you can do anything to you. Hui Ming raised his hand, and the entire ball of light shot up into the sky. The sea water evaporated in an instant, and everything around was ashes. Blue water is also exposed. She was still amazed at Hui Qing's divine power, and her eyes widened. The shock in my heart is beyond words. Just in a daze. Shilu looked over, and there was still this greed in his eyes. Blue water. His eyes flashed, and he rushed towards the blue water in an instant. Hui Qing sneered and shot instantly. He threw the huge energy ball in his hand. The speed is faster than time. This is the battle power of the god of the universe. Before Shilu approached blue water, he felt an unprecedented threat. The protective cover just held on for a moment before cracks appeared. The figure couldn't move. Shilu was going crazy at this time. The blue water in front of you, but you can't touch it. The Great Realm King's Island. Wuxia and the others, who were watching the battle, cried out excitedly. Good, good, good. This time we don't need to take action. Hui Qing can handle it alone. Wu Li said reluctantly. Alas, it seems that this time I have no chance to show my face. You have a chance to fart, go out and die? Blue water can put it on you with one hand. What's the use of saying these? After all, King Shenmu was once a king, and he disdained to cover himself up like Wuxia and Wu Li. I just feel that over the years, I have fallen too far behind. Even if there is no threat from Shilu, he will go into practice to catch up in the footsteps of Hui Qing and Bru. Stop pretending. Xyla's death is good for us. Let's honestly watch the performance of little brother Hui Qing. The performance is really not to mention, because Shilu has turned into scum at this time. All that was left was a piece of metal in the brain, not yet broken, proved that there is no real fall. In just an instant Shilu regained his shape again. However, his divine power has dropped to the lowest point, which is 100 million divine power. The lowest point of the universe god. He clenched his fists unwillingly, wanting to explode. But the breath did not change at all. Completely slumped. Hui Qing, every time you come out and make trouble when I'm doing the last step. I have no grievances with you. Why are you targeting me? Sirius was incompetent and furious. Yang Tian roared. He turned his head and glanced at Lan Shui, who was invaluable in the end, and there was greed in his eyes. He was completely insane at this time, and he rushed towards the blue water regardless. The blow from Hui Qing just now had seriously injured Lan Shui. Just lying there, this is his last chance. But he just took a step. Hui Qing dodged behind him, kicked him out, and kicked him directly in front of Lan Shui. Chapter 6190. Shilu got up with difficulty. With a thorn behind him, he wanted to pierce blue water. Still reluctant to give up, Hui Qing shook his head and sneered. She is mine. As he said that, he kicked Shilu aside, stepped on Xyla's forehead with his foot, and asked, I gave you the opportunity, but you couldn't grasp it by yourself. When you arrive at the Realm King continent, I can kill you as well. This is your fate. You are destined to be no match for me in this life. Since leaving the customs, the character of Hui Qing in black has undergone tremendous changes. Even Shilu was shocked. Why is Hui Qing so conceited now? Although I was a little conceited at the beginning, at least I won't say it. The current Hui Qing is indeed a bit strange. It's all about the gods. Shilu still didn't give up and shouted violently. Only a little bit. If I become a complete body, you will definitely die. And you will definitely not be my opponent. You're just lucky. Kill me, but I will never be convinced, even if I fall. Sirius is still stubborn. Hui Qing's eyes turned, staring at Shilu under his feet. Do you think I will see what is under my feet? After he finished speaking, he kicked Shilu out. It's just trash. I've given you so many chances, but it doesn't work, and you don't have a chance to stay. Killing Shilu was considered a mistake in the northern time and space. As for the complete body, he was really interested. Turning his head and grabbing Lan Shui in his hand, he said with a sneer, just based on this, you have the confidence to defeat me? Right. Shilu stood up and stared at Lan Shui greedily. As long as I absorb her, I will definitely win you. If you are afraid, just do it. Stimulate the law. Be smart. Huiqing shook his head and said, Do you think the trick will work for me? The calamity is over, and the state of mind has long since returned to unity. The goal is to kill Shilu, that will not change. But making the other person a complete body is not in the plan. He really wanted to see what would happen to the complete Shilu. Looking at the blue water in his hand, Huiqing said calmly, However, I really want to see your desperate expression. Swish. With a little force, he threw the blue water directly at Shilu. Absorb her and fight me again. Xylas' face was overjoyed, and he said arrogantly, Huiqing, you are really my great benefactor. The last time you let me go, this time you gave me a chance to complete my body. I really don't know how to thank you. Then show some strength and repay me well. Definitely live up to it. Shilu opened the peak and swallowed the blue water directly into his body. On the island of the Great Realm King, Wuxia and the others who saw this scene widened their eyes. Huiqing. Just now, I felt that Shilu was dying so soon, and it was a little cheaper for the other party. But now in a hurry. Madness. Isn't it possible to see such a simple method of aggressiveness? Wuxia shook his head and said, No, this is young conspiracy. The current Huiqing is very conceited. Shilu has grasped this point. In fact, Huiqing exposed this weakness as early as the beginning. At that time, Huiqing had a gentle personality, but he would still be a little conceited in his actions. You can see it when you fight with Shilu at the beginning. Don't worry too much, in case Xylas' complete body will be like that. Yes, we still have a chance. King Shenmu took the opportunity to sneer. Of course you have a chance. Then prepare to be hunted by Shilu. The evolution of Shilu, they are all watching. At the beginning, there were only more than 100 million divine powers, and it was considered a quasi-2 star in front of him. After absorbing Lan Yen, he directly became a quasi-Samsung. This complete body, I am afraid it will be more powerful. At least 4 stars, maybe even 5 stars. And Huiqing's divine power is only Samsung. Up to 3.5 stars. How does this solve Siru? Shilu, who can't always be a complete body, only has the combat power of the Samsung Universe God. That would be ridiculous. Previously, Shilu dared to be sure, which proved that he had that confidence. At this time over the sea, dazzling white light. Even Huiqing covered his eyes, unable to look directly. It took a long time for a stick of incense, and the white light stopped. Looking down, I saw Shilu walking out of the white light. His face was calm, and his temperament had changed a lot. With one hand on his waist, he looked up at Huiqing in the sky, spread his hands and said, How is it, are you satisfied? At this time, Xylas' figure has shrunk in a circle, and his one-handed body is more solidified than before. Or the body is more complete, and the flesh body is also different. Huiqing put his hands around his chest, and slowly fell from the sky into the sea that was poured from the sea. Stop talking nonsense, and do it directly. This time I will show you despair. I'm looking forward to it. Xylas' expression was always indifferent. There is no panic, or the excitement of becoming a complete body, and the character is also greatly changed. As soon as Huiqing finished speaking, he shot directly and hit Xylas' chest with another elbow. Bang! With just a muffled sound, Huiqing's expression froze. TSK, it's okay. Shilu looked down at Huiqing, raised his hand and slapped Huiqing out. Huiqing couldn't believe it. He used 70% of his power just now. The combat power of the Samsung Universe God was unable to shake Shilu in the slightest. Suddenly shouted angrily, clenching his hands into fists. With an explosion, the surrounding atmosphere instantly turned around. Huiqing's divine power also exploded directly from the 3-star to the quasi-4-star cosmic god. He stared at Shilu sneeringly. The game, it's time to end. You're right. Shilu looked like a fool. He didn't take Huiqing into his eyes at all. Just one-handed upward movement was the full force of Huiqing just now. A huge wave of divine power surged into the sky. This time, Huiqing's face was a little embarrassed. How could he do it? Without waiting for Huiqing to react, the light wave struck instantly. The speed is faster than him. Fortunately, The range is not large, so I dodged in time and barely escaped. But before he could breathe a sigh of relief, letting go was not a light wave. But two do not. For now. 8. Just like differentiation, the light waves spread all over the sky in an instant. This scene not only made Hui Qing take a deep breath. Even the gods in the God's star field couldn't help but marvel. Nanshikong, a monster created. Really invincible. Wuxia and others on the Great Realm King Island were even more dumbfounded. At this time, Bruce also just walked out of the time house. It's your turn. Well, after he came out, he found that Wuxia and others looked a little strange and walked over. Looking down, Shilu and the crystal ball complexion fusion. Has he become a complete body? Bruce couldn't believe it. When Hui Qing came out, he could see that Hui Qing's divine power was much stronger than that of Shilu at that time. In just one day, Shilu became a complete body. It is still in the hands of Hui Qing to become a complete body. Chapter 6191. Bruce, who had a great deal of confidence just now, immediately wilted. Under the guidance of the Great Realm King, he became the real dragon god. And it's a unique life form. Divine power has been raised to the extreme, has the combat power of a quasi-Samsung universe god. But now there is a 4-star cosmic Hui Qing, and they are not opponents. Going into practice again is useless, because the bottleneck has been reached. The guidance of the Great Realm King is useless, no matter how many treasures are there. If you want to go further, you have to go out and explore. Or a figure beyond the Great Realm King pointing him. But the strongest person they can get to know is the Great Realm King. No matter how strong it is the Realm King God. How could such a detached powerhouse take care of such trivial matters? Alas, arrogance kills people. Wuxia was already slumped aside. At this time, there is no mood to enter the space-time house. Glancing at the crystal ball blankly, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he said, "No, maybe we still have a chance." Chance? Everyone looked up at Wuxia. Jian Wushuang. Wuxia glanced at everyone and looked at the time house. Maybe there will be a miracle this time. At that time, we will definitely win. Trust him. The figure with the sword on its back. It seemed to be right in front of their eyes. It has become their last life-saving straw. It's been a whole day, and there's still no movement in the time house. Brother Wushuang, I'm afraid I won't be able to leave the customs in a short time. Don't forget that it was only the 8 tribulations realm when I entered. Now Bru has already surpassed the battle of the 4-star cosmic gods. Li, even if Wushuang reaches the 9 tribulations realm, or becomes the god of the universe, he is still no match for Shilu. Wu Li sighed and shook his head. It's not that he doesn't believe in Jian Wushuang, but Xyla's strength is too strong. A light in the despair of everyone gradually dimmed. I couldn't bear to look at the crystal ball anymore. This scene was seen by the Great Realm King, who secretly looked at the crowd through the wooden door. Thinking of himself back then, just as desperate. He could feel that Siru's breath was almost comparable to him. Similar to Zamasu. However, Zamasu is the future king of the gods, and will become more powerful. Now they all go to the starry sky to practice. It will be even stronger in the future, and surpassing him is only a matter of time. Siru was created by Zamasu from the southern dimension. The Great Realm King could not intervene either, because he is the king of the Great Realm, not a practitioner. If he shoots, Zamas will let people shoot too. The Kurds in Zhongzhou Divine Realm have returned. Taking action at this time will actually make Bei Shur and space fall into a devil's grasp. After taking a look, he could only pin his hopes on Jian Wushuang. At the same time, the battle over the sea was extremely fierce. Countless light waves continued to bombard Hui Qing. The future is broken. This is the super future body, just like Jian Wushuang's super ancient transformation. Once it cannot be maintained, the combat power will be cut in half in an instant. Completely unable to compete with Shilu. In fact, since Shilu became a complete body, Hui Qing did not have the capital to compete, and was passively beaten. Just like he beat Shilu before. Impossible. Hui Qing clenched his fists, his eyes burst with blood oozing out. This battle completely wiped him out. Shilu still looked indifferent, looking at Huiqing with one hand on his hip. It seems that you are very satisfied. I have not let you down. As soon as the words were finished, the figure flashed in front of Huiqing. Huiqing's eyes widened, before he had time to leave. I felt a chill in my chest. Shilu made a knife with one hand, and with just one blow, it shattered Huiqing's divine body. Whoa! Together with the source, it began to dry up. At this time, Huiqing, don't say anything, his consciousness began to go backwards. He couldn't even maintain his flight, and he began to fall from the sky. A new universe god about to fall? Huiqing fell from the sky with his hands up. Looking at all this, Wuxia and the others took a deep breath. Done. Huiqing is about to fall. Wuli sucked in a breath of cold air. Although they were all prepared, they knew that Huiqing was likely to fall. But when they saw it with their own eyes, they couldn't help but feel shocked. Shenmu King and Wuli are fine. Bruce just closed his eyes silently. Only Wuxia shook the most. Although his relationship with Huiqing is not as good as Jian Wushuang's. But also watching Huiqing grow up. At the beginning, a little novice in white, grew into a of the universe. Billions of years of friendship. The inside of Qi Shrine is full of light. There is also the grievances with the apprentice at the beginning, so that at the moment of high light, it merges with Jian Wushuang, and becomes Jian Wushuang's invincible posture. Every scene seems like yesterday. Huiqing. Wu's eyes were red. Alas! Wuli sighed and said, if Huiqing were to die like this, when Wushuang brother came back, how would we explain it? Hearing the words, King Shenmu widened his eyes and shouted angrily. Explain? We came out to fight. Who do we want to explain to? It's a big deal that I will accompany him down. Even if I die, I will die at the peak moment, and I will become the god of the universe. I can definitely make it. After saying that, the Shenmu King walked towards time. The rest were silent. Above the sea, Sirius looked at everything. Everything is in your own hands. The kind of Huiqing who fell quickly is wonderful calm. At this time, he lost his consciousness, and there was only a trace of vitality left. Even if Shilu didn't take action, Huiqing couldn't hold it for 3 days. Seeing that the other party lost consciousness, Shilu stopped talking nonsense, and prepared to give Huiqing the final blow. Point out. The speed of light rushed towards Huiqing below, but at this moment, an old man with a mask appeared out of thin air, and he just changed the direction of the beam with a random column. Who are you? Shilu frowned, and a trace of fear appeared in his heart. He is now complete. There are very few people who can make him fear. Even if this is the god's star field, the only ones who can threaten him are the Great Realm King or the Realm King God, as well as some time and space gods of the past dynasties. But he also has a background. The Realm King of the Southern Dimension and Zamasu. In the star domain of the gods, generally no one dares to do anything to him. Shilu, I know why you came. Why don't you wait for 3 days? After 3 days Jian Wushuang will take the initiative to fight. What if I don't? Xylas' eyes were cold. It's not a matter of time, it's a matter of face. Why give in? He is fully fleshed out. You can try. The mysterious masked man stretched out a hand. Shilu frowned, and he was a little afraid to shoot for a while. At this moment, a voice entered his mind. Promise him. This voice Shilu is very familiar. He is the Realm King of the Southern Time and Space. It is good. Remember your words. Shilu still obeyed the words of the Southern Realm King. However, instead of giving face to the King of Nanjia, he felt that the King of Nanjia had bowed his head. If he took a strong shot, he would only offend both sides. The mysterious masked man did not speak, and grabbed Huiqing with one hand. Chapter 6192. Just like when it came out of thin air. Disappeared out of thin air. Just talking about this method, Shilu can't do it. He took a deep breath and didn't stay there for long. 3 days. Jian Wushuang personally came to meet him. No matter how much Jian Wushuang can grow in these 3 days, all should be prepared. 3 days, it's really interesting. I'm going to see how strong you can be. Xylas' figure moved and flew towards the transformed Jialong Mountain. Outside the town north, Shilu jumped into a fairly barren area and built a huge ring, thousands of miles in size. All the time and space in the 4 directions have been transformed by him, and there are restrictions. Only 2 people can enter at a time. This is his preparation. Then he closed his eyes and waited for the decisive battle 3 days later. Every second of time is precious. Even Jian Wushuang in the source of the stars is the same. At this time, Jian Wushuang had already broken through the Tower of 9 Tribulations more than 20 times in a row. His origin is getting stronger and stronger. Now in the original starry sky, there are already 3 miniature rivers of time and space. In every river of time and space, there are 9 universes. 3 long rivers of time and space, lined up in a row. It has the meaning of fusion. Call. Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged outside the Jia Tower and let out a long breath. After he entered this place, he never dared to stop. Now it has finally reached the 8 tribulations consummation. Prepare for the 9th robbery. It is also the most meaningful catastrophe in the catastrophe. Because of the divine tribulation, it is already a requirement of the universe God. However, the 9th robbery of Jian Wushuang, for ordinary practitioners, is even more terrifying than the power of the divine robbery. One after another disorderly rules came. Baptize his divine body. Not only baptizing his divine body, but also baptizing with the source. Jian Wushuang has integrated the divine body and the source into one. The divine body is the 36 ultimate universes. The origin of the 36 universes is also his divine body. The universe is immortal, and the divine body is immortal. Come together. Jian Wushuang raised his head slightly, staring at the 9th robbery above his head. This is no longer the supreme rule of the starry sky, but from a disorderly catastrophe. What? His power exploded suddenly. It just broke 1,000,000 in an instant. After the source and the divine body are completely integrated, amplification becomes more perfect. In the 8 tribulations realm, the divine power exceeded 100 million. Throughout the ages, he was the only one. If you want to go to the temple of the gods, you can do it at your fingertips. What's more, Jian Wushuang has the confidence to become a god. Why did he go to the temple? Just for that background? Ridiculous. Xingyu's words at the beginning would only make him feel ridiculous. With the advent of disorderly robbery, Jian Wushuang's divine body and origin have changed again. A baptism of power outside the rules. 99 times. Each time was enough to kill a demigod. However, every baptism will greatly increase his divine power. 99 baptisms completed. His power has exceeded 100 million. The basic divine power left in the end also reached an astonishing 60 million. It is not an augmented divine body. 9 tribulations have passed. Jian Wu's eyes couldn't help but be excited. Together with the divine power of the starry sky, it was omitted to supplement it. Now is the beginning of my journey to the top. He directly took out the beast soldier. When you reach the 9 tribulations realm, you can finally use the beast divine weapon. In the super eternal change, it is time to improve. The power of the beast contains the disordered origin of the world beast. He himself is the power of the starry sky, and the two merge. Like a disordered starry sky, this is the ultimate everlasting change. However, you must first activate the first form of the beast magic weapon, before you can create the second layer of super eternal change. In the source starry sky, Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged in the void, the power of the beast floating around. Blue and pink gradually blend. A terrifying force is also growing. Blue and pink, eventually forming a dark red. He suddenly opened his eyes. It's done. At this time, Jian Wushuang's eyes were dark red. God move. He clenched his fists. Super eternal change. Swish. Without any delay, the transformation unfolds in an instant. But when he first mastered it, he still needed to condense divine power to be able to perform super ancient transformation. Next is the ultimate eternal change. Jian Wushuang shouted angrily, Ha! Divine violence. Dark red divine power rose up, and arcs flickered, and he bathed in it. Divine power has also reached an exaggerated level. Plus the blessing of the first layer of the beast soldiers. There is also the previous blessing of super-eternal change. He is now a quasi-5-star cosmic god. First of all, the basic power is 60 million. The robbery armor transformed into the 9 robbery armor, an increase of 10 million. The first layer of the beast soldier needs 50 million divine power, and it also gave him an increase of 50 million divine power. This is 120 million, which is the combat power of 1 star of the universe god. The most important thing is the everlasting increase. The super eternity has doubled. That is 240 million divine power. The ultimate eternity has doubled again. The divine power directly exploded to 480 million. This is already a quasi-5-star cosmic combat power. He also has free will. The white aura was just a hint of wafting, but it allowed him to fight against the quasi-6-star cosmic god. There is also the Starry Sky catalog. His kendo can already maintain the 6th sword at this time. The 6-star universe also has the confidence to kill its time to leave. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank. The original road he may not go. So Shinjie is not in a hurry, it will take some time. This time span is very long. With his current strength, it is enough to go out and deal with Shilu. With a single touch of a finger, the time and space are torn apart. Swish! Entering the crack, the next moment appeared in the time house. Senior Great Realm King. At this time, Jian Wushuang returned to normal, with only 60 million basic divine power. In the 9 Tribulations realm, it is not very eye-catching, and it is only a powerhouse among the demigods. So fast. The Great Realm King was a little surprised. He thought Jian Wushuang would stay for a long time. The main Jian Wushuang was worried that the external situation had changed, and he did not enter the 4-story tower. It came out without much research. Jian Wushuang heard the words and directly told the truth. 4-story tower? Hearing that there was another tower, the Great Realm King couldn't stand still. He widened his eyes and exclaimed, "How is it possible, in the source of the starry sky, there is only a tower of 9 tribulations left by the big star officer, and there is no 4-story tower at all? Accurately speaking, there are 5 layers." Jian Wushuang said with some uncertainty. The first layer of the universe god, the second layer of space-time god, the third layer of starry sky, the fourth layer of disorder, the fifth layer has no name. In order to verify, the Great Realm King directly tore the space and took the initiative to go to the source of the starry sky. Jian Wushuang naturally followed, but after he passed, he found that the tower had disappeared. Come out of thin air, go out of thin air. This is still there just now. Jian Wushuang was a little confused for a while. There is no need for him to lie. When you see it, you see it. After giving him a deep look, the Great Realm King took a deep breath. Perhaps that's your chance. Chapter 6193. What? This time Jian Wushuang couldn't stand. It was a chance that belonged to him alone. But he didn't get in. Big loss. You don't have to regret. What is yours is yours. This is the starry sky, a place with rules, not a place of disorder. The Great Realm King gave a comforting voice. But in the bottom of his heart, he was amazed by Jian Wushuang's chance. Even he had never heard of it. The 9 Tribulations Pagoda is the arrogance against the power of the starry sky. It is a treasure that the big star official personally put into the source of the starry sky. It's good to be able to get this reward. Unexpectedly, Jian Wushuang can still see the mysterious tower. Jian Wushuang nodded lightly. He was actually fine. This time his combat power has increased tremendously. Has been able to face everything. By the way, Shilu has become a complete body, you are now. The Great Realm King glanced at Jian Wushuang, feeling a little uneasy in his heart. He can naturally see that Jian Wushuang's aura has changed a lot. But his basic divine power is only 60 million. Even if it is doubled, it is only 1 star of the universe god, which is too far from the current Shilu. Jian Wushuang naturally understood what the Great Realm King meant. Hands clenched slightly. Complete body? Then let Senior Lao witness it, and see who is stronger between me and Shilu. Ha! Jian Wushuang shouted angrily. Directly cast the ultimate eternal change. The power of disorder. where the origin of the starry sky and the origin of the beast gods converge, rises in an instant. The ultimate eternal change. His divine power instantly reached the level of a quasi-5-star cosmic god. There is also the blessing of this free and extreme mind power. But this blessing cannot be seen or touched, and it can only be manifested when fighting. Powerful walks around. The eyes of the great realm king couldn't help but turn around and exclaimed, "Your strength has improved very quickly, but compared with the current Shilu, it may be a little worse." "Alright, this is more interesting." Jian Wushuang smiled indifferently. If Shilu is too weak, it will be meaningless. He also promised the prophet to take Siru's life. I thought it was a very common thing, but I didn't expect it to be so complicated. And Xylus' growth is also exaggerated. The first time I met it was in the northern time and space. At that time, after Shilu became interested, he had the combat power of the 9 tribulations in the northern time and space. After arriving at the Realm King continent, it was even faster than their level. Stronger than the quasi-5-star cosmic god, at least the peak powerhouse among the 5-star cosmic gods, or the quasi-6-star, or even the 6-star cosmic god. "Senior, there's nothing to do, I'll go out first." Later, he has to go to the prophet's place, and then go to deal with Shilu. The great realm king nodded and said, "Go ahead. There is just 1 day left at the appointed time with the prophet, and Shilu will be waiting for you at Zhalong Mountain." Jian Wushuang was a little surprised when he heard the words, but he didn't ask any further questions. He left the time house. Island. Seeing him walking out of the time house, everyone got up one after another. The last person to enter the time house was Wuxia. The rest have been elevated. At this point they are standing outside waiting. "Wushuang, you finally came out." Wu Li looked a little embarrassed, because now Huiqing's life and death are unknown. It was taken away by the prophet before, and there has been no news. Jian Wushuang was surprised when he saw that Huiqing was missing. "Where's Huiqing?" "This. You have to ask Lord Prophet." After he was seriously injured by Siru, he was taken away by Lord Prophet. "Let's not talk about this. How has your strength improved? Can you win the current Shilu?" They care more about this. The pressure that Shilu gave was too great. Jian Wushuang shook his head when he heard the words. "I haven't seen Xylus' complete body, I'm not sure." Even the great realm king said that his chances of winning were very small, and he did not dare to exaggerate. "It's really not possible, let's go together." Wu Li gritted his teeth and said, "It's a pity that I didn't become a cosmic god, but through the guidance of Senior Great Realm King, I created the cosmic mystery method, and my divine power is only 1-star cosmic god. It's already very good." Jian Wushuang comforted. He didn't expect Wu Li and the others. Shilu came to him, and he could only solve it. Wu Li and others also briefly explained some of the previous things. Hearing that Huiqing almost fell, Jian Wushuang frowned, but he didn't expect it to be so serious. As for Huiqing's conceit, he felt nothing. Personality changes are normal. Let Shilu become a complete body, not to blame Huiqing. "I'll go see how Shilu is in full body first." Jian Wushuang ripped apart time and space at will. You don't need the help of the divine artifact. Seeing this, everyone couldn't help taking a breath of cold air. This is the territory of the Great Realm King, and the time and space are more stable. But it was torn apart by Jian Wushuang. This is not to use divine power, but to rely on the realm. Now Jian Wushuang is only 1 step away from the complete long river of time and space. Time and space have reached the peak level. If it is time and space, no matter how strong it is, he can tear it apart. Just like the space-time canyon at the beginning, he can also get it out now. It just doesn't make much sense. Ordinary treasures are naturally not seen. Despite this, everyone still reminded. "Be careful, Siru is terrible." "No problem." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and the figure disappeared in front of everyone and a flash reappeared, already outside the north city of Zalongshan town. Falling into the arena arranged by Shilu, the two stood back to back. Saruru, Jian Wushuang. They just called each other's names softly, and neither of them said anything. But a powerful thought force is entangled. "Want to compete?" Jian Wushuang frowned slightly and chuckled lightly. "Gone. After speaking, he disappeared again. Interesting. The corner of Xylas' mouth rose, and he was able to get the approximate strength of Jian Wushuang through the contest just now. 5-star universe god. Compared with Shilu, this is not enough. Swish. Jian Wushuang returned to the island of the Great Realm King, and everyone looked over curiously. Want to know the answer in his heart. Shit almost. This is Jian Wushuang's speculation. Xylas' strength really gave him a surprise. It can be so powerful. Stronger than his mind. He is definitely stronger than him in divine power. Shilu, who was just normal, was the battle power of the 5-star cosmic god. The peak may be around 7 stars. It's really stressful. It's okay, there is still 1 day left, you can still improve. Never mind. Jian Wushuang shook his head. He was not going to retreat anymore, because it was unnecessary. He has to go to the prophet somewhere. It's too late to retreat, and what he can improve has been improved. The rest of the divine calamity requires a long time to accumulate, and it cannot be achieved in a short time. I'm going to visit Lord Prophet. You can go back to the Immortal Temple. Sira will not trouble you for the time being. There is no need to stay here. This time, the Great Realm King helped them, because of the relationship between the Northern Realm King. Chapter 6194. Without this threat from Shilu, it would not help them improve their strength. Everything has to be done gradually. After explaining, he got up and flew towards the place where the prophet lived. It took a stick of incense to reach the hall where the prophet was. As soon as he landed, he saw that the prophet was already waiting for him. Lord Prophet. Jian Wushuang saluted respectfully. For the prophet, he is full of admiration, and has been helping him all the time. In particular, the refining of the beast gods also pointed out the fusion of the power of the starry sky and the power of the beast gods. Great kindness to him. Now he has saved Huiqing and stabilized Shilu. It seems that you have taken control of the beast magic weapon. Jian Wushuang nodded and said, the junior has never forgotten what the Lord explained, and after the breakthrough, he will come to the senior. And about Shilu, thank you, seniors. The prophet waved his hand and said, these are all small things. It's a big thing only if you control the beast gods. And you have also increased the power of disorder a lot. If you enter the realm of disorder in the future, I'm afraid it will also be a big deal. I can barely survive. The land of disorder? Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment, but he did not expect that the prophet would mention the land of disorder, which is the infinite land outside of time and space. There are no rules there, and there are powerful monsters and beasts, dividing the disorderly land, and one by one occupying the mountains as kings. Very confusing. The starry sky principle has always been in harmony with the disordered land. Even if the disordered land invades, it is only a resistance, and it will never take the initiative. Because it's not necessary. You go punch him, he's fine. Instead, it will hurt your hands. Very passive. As a result, the prophet's words intended him to go to a place of disorder. This made Jian Wushuang somewhat confused. You will know in the future. I won't tell you this first. After you control the beast soldier, I have something to give you. And this thing is related to the robbery armor on your body. After the prophet finished speaking, he took out a blue bead. Related to Jejia? Jian Wushuang's heart shook. The robbery armor is obtained from the Tiantian chessboard. The Guantian chessboard was given to him by Teacher Xuani, which meant that Jejia was related to Teacher Xuani. The prophet even knew this. Senior, do you know Teacher Xianyi? Jian Wushuang said excitedly. Could it be that Teacher Xianyi asked you to help me? The prophet heard the words and said vaguely. Almost. Then can you tell me how to find Teacher Xianyi? Jian Wushuang had a lot of doubts in his heart. He kept going to the source of the world, but couldn't find the whereabouts of Teacher Xianyi. Now there are finally some clues. Didn't he tell you? The prophet smiled. He should have told you that he will meet in the future. It should not be far away. Do you know this? Jian Wushuang was completely stunned. I didn't expect the prophet to be able to count this. He also had some doubts about the identity of the other party. Can count so clearly. Teacher Xiani estimates that he is really in the starry sky, and a very powerful god. But he didn't see Teacher Xuani's name on the town boundary stone tablet. Maybe Xuani teacher didn't call him by this name. At the beginning, the head of the Xuani temple of Qi Temple said that the name of Teacher Xuani was borrowed from him. Who would that be? 12 star spirits? According to Teacher Xuani's mystery, it is really possible. Or which big star official? Don't make random guesses. Some things need your strength to be able to know. Otherwise it will be useless to tell you now. Just like you are now with the masters of the universe in the northern time and space. The gap is too big to help you. Instead, it would be a burden. Jian Wushuang nodded silently. Robbery armor. He took out the armor and handed it to the prophet. This is made from the Tian chessboard that Teacher Xuani left me at the beginning. The chessboard is divided into two parts. One condenses the heavenly Tao pearl, and the other is this robbery armor. After he finished speaking, he thought of the beads in the prophet's hand. Think of Huiqing being rescued before. Only then did he react and exclaimed, Senior, did you take out Huiqing's heavenly Tao pearl? This is Huiqing's key treasure. Take it out and Huiqing will be useless. Yes, this heavenly Tao bead was originally given to you. But because your path has changed, this bead will only reach Huiqing. This robbery armor is actually one body with this bead. If you give it away, why not? Send the Buddha to the west. Oh, since that's the case, then send Jie to Huiqing. Jian Wushuang didn't care. Anyway, 10 million more divine power now has no effect on him. After the prophet heard it, he smiled lightly and said, You are very generous. This kind of treasure is given away as soon as it is given away. Do you know what it does? I don't know. Jian Wushuang shook his head. At first, he felt that the robbery had nothing to do with the Tiandaozu, so he divided it into two and gave it to Huiqing. The robbery armor is very simple, only increasing the basic divine power. It is a rather magical treasure. Now it has transformed into a divine armor, which is even more extraordinary. It just wasn't of much use to him. If it comes to the universe God, it's okay to have a qualitative change. Since it's all given to Huiqing, I won't explain it to you. I will accept this treasure. Of course it won't make you suffer. There are even better treasures for you. After the prophet finished speaking, he took it out of his arms. A red-marked eyelet. The power of disorder emanates from it. When Jian Wushuang saw the eye mark, his heart shook. This power is terrifying. It is very similar to the power of disorder that he fused with the power of the starry sky. Has the power to destroy the world. He also saw a power from the source. Is the source of disorder? No, this is just the source of the power of the beast god. The eyesight is good. This is left by the beast that entered the starry sky. One eye. The prophet threw the red eyeball to Jian Wushuang. A world beast, a disorderly powerhouse stronger than a monster. He has one eye and looks ugly, but his strength is extremely powerful. There are even fewer recorded beasts. The prophet said that it was a world beast that entered the starry sky. That is to say, the other party had the combat power to cross the long river of time and space and shatter the continent of the world king. It's better not to go to the sky. Compare the starry sky to a house. The 4 dimensions of time and space are the 4 walls. Realm King continent is the roof. Most of the recorded beasts were beheaded by the Realm King before they approached time and space. The stronger ones are to enter the Realm King continent and be beheaded by the Great Realm King, or a star spirit powerhouse. It was the first time Jian Wushuang heard of being able to enter the starry sky. The prophet added, That world beast, leaving this scorpion behind, ran away. His strength is very powerful, and he can smash the entire World King continent with one punch. Jian Wushuang broke into a cold sweat when he heard it, and was able to shatter the Realm King continent with one punch. How strong is this? Why strength may not be so terrifying? Chapter 6195. Break into the starry sky, but also be able to retreat. The 12 star spirits are decorations? He got away with this. At the beginning, the star officer of the starry sky went to the place of disorder and it was considered a sneak attack. Wes, one of the 12 star spirits, shot, leaving the opponent's eyes and letting the beast escape. Back then, when Weiss shot and fought against the beast, he was only slightly better and knocked back the opponent. In his own territory, he failed to take down that world beast. That's the 12 star spirits. The 12 strongest in the starry sky. Practitioners are almost certain never beyond. The strongest cultivator is the kind of Xingyue. Becoming a Protoss messenger, or becoming a world king, has reached the top. There are only a few practitioners of the Great Realm King, which is similar to the number of celestial spirits, able to slip through the hands of Weiss. Only one eye remained. Jian Wushuang observed carefully, shocking his mind. Don't dare to comprehend intuitively. This is the eye of the beast. You can attach it to the divine beast, and it will raise the origin of the divine beast to a higher level. It is a treasure for you. In Jian Wushuang's view, the prophet's words were too modest. Those eyes are treasures to everyone. When the 9 stars cosmic god came, he had to flow Heratzi. Jian Wushuang swallowed a mouthful of saliva, then wrapped it directly with thought power, threw it into the source of the beast god, and started a chain. Wow! He was shocked all over. The dark red power erupted again, even suppressed his star power. The dark red has also turned into a peach. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists, only to feel his divine power skyrocketing uncontrollably. Divine power instantly exceeded 100 million. It stopped at the top. If he doesn't use super eternal transformation now, he has 150 million divine power. To display super eternal change, it is Samsung. The ultimate eternal change is 6 stars. He also has the power of freedom 7-star cosmic god. He can fight too. There was also an extra mark between Jian Wushuang's eyebrows. Blood red. Compared with Siru, the gap between you now is not big. The prophet nodded indifferently. Jian Wushuang is full of confidence. Even if the prophet still thinks that there is a gap between him and Shilu, he still feels that there is hope for victory. I will definitely do what the seniors told me. Kill Sirius. Wait for Huiqing, he's coming out soon. Jian Wushuang nodded. The day passed quickly. Before dawn, Huiqing left the customs. The temperament of the whole person has changed. Wearing a black robe, his eyes are cold. Seeing Jian Wushuang, he just smiled slightly. Let's go. The prophet couldn't wait to watch the battle. Jian Wushuang and Huiqing nodded at the same time. Then they looked at each other and flew up together, heading towards Zhalong Mountain. Passing through the star field of the gods, the two arrived outside Jinbei City. This time, there is no tearing space, just simply flying. After arriving, it was discovered that Wu Zhuo and the others were also here. Everyone looked at each other and said nothing. Seeing so many people, Shilu was extremely excited. He also made the rules. Ring battle 1-on-1. Falling off the ring or falling is considered a loser. How is it, are you still satisfied? Shilu spread his hands and looked at everyone. Jian Wushuang seemed very casual and said indifferently, "Of course. Why don't you go with Huiqing?" Wu Zhuo couldn't help but persuade him. He saw that Huiqing and Jian Wushuang were similar in strength, but not as terrifying as Shilu. It's better to go together, it's more secure. No, I have a chance. Jian Wushuang is extremely confident. Hearing that he was so confident, Wu Zhuo stopped persuading him. The intention of refusal has been distributed. Pat. Jian Wushuang stepped onto the ring and slowly raised his hand. Let's start. I originally wanted to save the best for the last, but you are too anxious, Jian Wushuang. Xyla's face changed, and his figure struck like lightning. But Jian Wushuang was not slow. His toes touched the ground lightly, and he jumped into the air. A strong light condensed in his hands, and the shocked Shilu couldn't move below. But only for a moment. The bright light started to dissipate. The figures of the two flickered at the same time, constantly fighting in the air. One after another muffled sound, so that the surrounding area is prohibited from shaking. The world shook with it. Their power is also increasing. Jian Wushuang said nonchalantly. The sword is in its sheath and has to be drawn. Once the sword is out, there is no turning back. Don't let my preparations go to waste. Shilu completely ignored Jian Wushuang. Glancing at Wang Jiejian, he let out a sneer. The sword intent contained in the body of the sword is only a quasi-8 star. He was slashed with the sword while standing, and he wouldn't be hurt at all. Come on, I'll stand here and see what your sword can do to me. In the face of the arrogant Shilu, Jian Wushuang was unmoved. A slight smile twitched at the corner of his mouth. The sword of 10,000 tribulations hummed. Whoa! He raised his hand slightly, and the sword of myriad tribulations split out. A normal sword chi burst out. Everyone was stunned, thinking that Jian Wushuang was crazy. How could such a simple sword energy hurt Shilu? But the sword light in the sword energy suddenly rioted. The starry sky cataloged the sixth sword. Jian Wushuang muttered in a low voice. His eyes suddenly turned, and the whole person's breath became sharp. Everlasting is also an enemy. Boom. The originally long and narrow sword chi suddenly turned into a sword light, covering the entire God's star field. At this moment, the supreme rule couldn't help shaking. Powerful breath Akanshu. Calm resonates with the world. Jian Wushuang Qiqiao bleeds. Divine power was instantly evacuated. The power of the source in the body is all gathered in the sword light. He was greedy all over. The strength is just right. It will not kill him, but also can let this sword be presented in a perfect posture. Under the light of the sword, Xyla's heart was also tight. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to have such a backhand. A terrifying sword light. It was enough to make his mind shake. Unable to look directly. Today I will make you despair. Facing the sword light, Shilu opened his hands and slammed into it. I want to break the sword light with both hands. But the moment he touched the sword light, he found that his divine power suddenly dropped. A terrifying aura was swallowing his power. How is this possible? Shilu looked shocked. Don't dare to hit hard. With powerful divine power gathered in both hands, he wanted to blast this sword light. But when the light beam that erupted from his hands was directly divided into two parts, the place was dumbfounded. The speed of Jingguang also began to increase suddenly, no longer giving Shilu a chance to breathe. The light and shadow cut through in an instant. Xyla's figure gradually split in the light. Eyeballs burst open. Flesh smashed. The gods are shaking. No, you can't kill me. Shilu in the sword light is still struggling. But Jian Wushuang no longer has the power to bless him. The impact of the sword light gradually dimmed. Shilu looked happy, and he was able to carry it on. The sword light is weakening, and his pressure is not so great. The body gradually recovered. With a shove with both hands, the sword light, which was starting to weaken, was blocked. It's over, everyone. This battle is very happy. Also dangerous. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.